Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Houston.
Sunday Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is presented by Hyundai. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, it's the series finale between the Houston Astros and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And good afternoon on a Sunday. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. Unfortunate news. A friend of ours, Brad Mills, no longer manager of the Houston Astros. We wish him well. These things happen all the time in baseball.
I'm a little bit surprised. I thought it would happen probably at the end of the year, but the Astros decided to pull the trigger now on Brad Mills. And, forget about the record. He's a solid baseball guy. He'll land on his feet and hopefully go on to have a very good managerial career somewhere else. He was just in the middle of a rough situation here.
And the season moves on now with the new manager, Tony DeFrancesco, ready to manage today. Armando Galarraga, the former Arizona Diamondback, going to work in an Astros uniform against a 21-game winner last year, Ian Kennedy, who's 10-10 this season. The finale of the series comes your way next.
Insurance Group. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And buy Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack Combo for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. Greg Lucas on the field. It's going to be the third game, Arizona and Houston. The new manager is here, and Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies are in the booth.
Tony DeFrancesco just took out the lineup card. He's a longtime baseball man in his 26th season in the game. And let's hear from him from his pregame remarks.
Today is the first day, and I'm going to tell the players that it's a new beginning. From now to the end of the season, we're going to see how good we can be. I know every guy in that clubhouse. They played for me in Oklahoma City. They gave a great effort, and I was the guy that was congratulating them to come up to the major leagues. and I hope I can pass what I did down there to have the success up here.
Ty Van Berkelio is the man with the Astros cap on. He's the new hitting instructor for the Astros. He was the roving minor league hitting instructor. There's Ty Van Berkelio. He also was with Tony in the Oakland system for years. And Dan Radisson will be the new first base coach. He's been a special assistant to the general manager. There's Dan, and he will take over as the first base coach. Those are the changes. And now we go to the baseball game, and Armando Galarraga gets ready to go to work to Gerardo Parra leading off this game as the D-backs try to sweep this 3-game series.
And as you might guess, Tony's from Suffern, New York. Played collegiately at Seton Hall University before going on to a long minor league career as a player and now a long-time minor league manager. Big thrill for him, first day managing in the big leagues.
Gerardo Parra gets it started. Galarraga, the former D-back, throws, and he's taking it all the way. There's strike one. Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, the home plate umpire. Parra at 279 with 6 homers, has 30 runs batted in. In this series, he has 3 hits and 10 at-bats. D-backs won last night 12-4 after capturing a 3-1 game Friday night.
It was Parra's leadoff double in the 5th inning that got things started. The Diamondbacks went on to score 9 in that inning and pretty much taking over the ball game. Parra's always been good against the Astros.
He sure has. Career batting average .352 against Houston, .389 this season.
Armando Galarraga is 0-3 with a .575 ERA. You take a look at his last 3 outings. Walks were a big problem in the starts at Atlanta and then here against Washington. Last time he was good in terms of control with just a couple of walks, but the home runs got him at Wrigley.
Ground ball goes to Jose Altuve, and that's out number 1. Hyundai brings you the starting lineup for Kirk Gibson's T-backs. They're 5 games off the lead in the NL West. Parra, Aaron Hill, Jason Kubel, Paul Goldschmidt, Miguel Montero, Chris Young, Stephen Drew, Ryan Wheeler, and Ian Kennedy. Now it's Aaron Hill, and the power hitting second sacker went deep last night with a 3-run shot in that big 9-run 5th inning. 294, 15 homers, 52 runs batted in for Hill. He cracks one by a diving third baseman Scott Moore into the left field corner. Hill heading for second base for his 30th 2-base hit of the year. And the D-backs, who are 5th in runs scored, have a runner in scoring position with 1 down.
Yeah, they got a lot of sock in this lineup, a lot of extra base power. Of course, their ballpark is a great hitter's park. It yields a lot of doubles and triples. This lineup will play anywhere. They're talented hitters and good balance left and right.
Jason Kubel, who had the big 3-home run game in Arizona against the Astros, is playing for the first time in this series. He's missed a couple of games with a stiff neck. 25 homers, 77 runs batted in this season for Kubel. And there's ball 1 from Galarraga. Kubel has really produced with the 25 long balls, 25 doubles, and 3 triples, giving him a .541 slugging percentage this year. 30-year-old veteran who has been with the Minnesota Twins until signing as a free agent with this club in the offseason, a 2-year, $15 million.
A good, solid major league player. So much attention focused on Mauer and Morneau over there in Minnesota. And obviously, those are really good players, but this guy was a solid contributor for a number of years and putting up big numbers in the desert now, including a 3-home run game against the Astros when we were there last month.
He drove in 6 in that game. Kubel, in fact, led the National League with 11 home runs in the month of July. But lately, he's hitting .164 in his last 18 games. Galarraga falls behind him, 3 balls, no strikes. D-backs have hit .333 against the Astros, winning their first 5 games against Houston in the season series, scoring 48 runs in those 5 games and hitting 9 long balls. Kubel's gone 6 for 13 with 4 homers and 8 runs batted in. Kubel in July hit 5 of his homers over a 12-game stretch. He smacks one up the right field line, but it hooks foul.
A free swing there on 3-0, just a little too quick. Got out in front of it a little bit. Galarraga's going to have to make a quality pitch here on 3-1.
Sure is. Shortstop Tyler Green is positioned up the middle. That leaves a big hole on the left side of the infield for Kubel. And he pulls it. Altuve backhanding, throwing, and making an accurate throw from the air. That's a very fine play as he went a long way to his right. Then with the jump throw, he got Kubel, with Hill taking third.
Kubel trying to pull that two-seam runner, moving away from him. And Altuve with a fine backhand play.
Two outs now, a runner at third, and it's Paul Goldschmidt from the Woodlands batting. Goldschmidt looks at ball one.
Galarraga, 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, changeup. He's not a hard thrower, average velocity 88, 89 miles an hour. He needs to work on the edges, keep the ball down around the knees.
Goldschmidt hits it in the air, and here's Barnes in center field going back. Brandon Barnes with the catch. No runs, a hit, a 0 for Galarraga. Ian Kennedy takes the mound next. Astros come out with this Hyundai starting lineup, the first for Tony DeFrancisco as a major league manager. It's Jose Altuve at second base, Scott Moore at third, Brett Wallace at first. The cleanup man is left fielder Fernando Martinez. Tyler Green plays shortstop, batting fifth today. It's Brian Bogusevic in right field, Brandon Barnes in center, Jason Castro the catcher for Armando Galarraga.
Ian Kennedy, one of the best pitchers in the National League last year when he was 21-4. This year it's been more of a bumpy ride for him. He's split 20 decisions with a 4.35 ERA. He's a fly ball pitcher, and the big fly's been a bit of an issue for him this year. You see 23 home runs allowed. Defensively, Kubel, Young, and Parra patrol the pasture. Wheeler, Drew, Hill, Goldschmidt third to first on the infield. And Montero, an outstanding backstop, is the catcher.
Jose Altuve is on a 4-game hitting streak. He leads it off for the Astros. Taking ball one from Ian Kennedy. 306 is Altuve's average, including 5 homers, 31 runs batted in. And as you see, ranking 7th in the league in batting average, and he's 5th in hits with 137 hits. Something's loose out on the warning track in the outfield. Chris Young going back to retrieve it, so time is called. Altuve has put together some outstanding games recently. He's tied for second in the league now in multi-hit games with 44. Had back-to-back 3-hit games in Chicago, and then a couple more hits Friday night with 1 hit and 1 walk last night. Altuve for the season 7 for 15 against Arizona pitching. There's a high strike call, and it's 1-1.
That's a big part of Kennedy's game. He works up in the strike zone with a four-seam fastball. Also throws a cutter, curve, and a good changeup.
Altuve's not chasing, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count for Jose. Kennedy, a robust 21-4 last year, and that set a club record for Arizona for winning percentage in a season. Finishing 4th in the Cy Young voting. Fouls it back, and it's 2-2 to Altuve.
At 21-4, a 2.88 ERA, pitching in a tough pitcher's ballpark in Phoenix. So an outstanding year for Kennedy. Originally signed with the Yankees, dealt to the Diamondbacks. A 3-team deal back in 09. This is his 3rd year with the D-backs.
Outside there, and Altuve has worked the count to 3-2. Kennedy's walked only 33 in 151 innings. His major league career, he's won 41 and lost 28. And he walked another one. Altuve accepts his 35th walk of the year, and he's aboard for Scott Moore.
Let's break down on Kennedy. Going to the post routinely over the last 3 years, 9 and 10 in 2010, despite a very competitive 3.80 ERA. Then the breakout year last year, as Brownie mentioned, 4th in the National League in Cy Young voting. 10 and 10 this year. So if they're going to run down the Dodgers and the Giants in the NL West, they're going to need Kennedy to step it up a little bit. In his career in the second half, he's been outstanding.
22-8 after the All-Star break. Scott Moore's on a 6-game hitting streak. Bunting here, and it's barehanded, and Wheeler throws low, but Goldschmidt is able to dig it out on the backhand side. So Altuve is sacrificed to second, even though Moore appeared was bunting for a hit. Put down a pretty good one, but Wheeler made a nice play.
Not a bad idea. Straight sacrifice in this situation, for my money, would be a bad idea, but trying to push a bunt for a base hit there, not a bad try. Forced them to make a play. Wheeler does not earn high marks for his defensive work at third base. So you take a shot in that direction, hope to get on. If not, you at least move the man along.
And give Brett Wallace a chance to drive him in. Wallace at 303 with 5 homers, has 11 runs batted in. Brett's on a 3-game hitting streak. 2 for 4 last night. And Tony DeFrancesco had high praise for Wallace's work this season at Oklahoma City. Now he's trimmed down so much, moving around so much better. There's ball 1 to Brett. And Tony also, of course, acquired a working knowledge of Brett when they were together in the Oakland system. Tony managing for years at AAA Sacramento, the Oakland Farm Club. That's ball 2, and somebody in the press conference today asked Tony D about his managerial philosophy. He kind of chuckled, and I think most managers would when they're asked that question, because it really depends on the players they have in any given year as to how they might manage a club. But overall, he loves hitters who work the count, the old Moneyball type philosophy in Oakland. Plays very well with him, and that's exactly what Wallace is doing here. It's 3-0. But he likes hitters who go into deep counts, forcing the pitcher to work, getting good pitches to hit. And Wallace in a favorable spot here. We'll see if he gets the green light on 3-0. It's 3-1, and of course he mentioned pitching and defense. Who doesn't?
You know, he's probably high on fundamental play.
Exactly.
Throwing to the right base.
Yeah.
And being aggressive when it calls for it. I'm going to guess he's big on being on time, working hard, and taking it one day at a time.
There's another walk. Fernando Martinez will come up next. So from Oklahoma City to the big leagues, a 30th round draft choice of the Angels, never reached the big leagues, managed the A's AAA team, and consistently a playoff team from 03 through 07 and 9 and 10. Second year in the Astros organization. He was at AAA Oklahoma City last year.
30th round pick of the Angels out of high school, and a 9th round pick by the Red Sox out of Seton Hall.
Fernando Martinez hit a 3-run homer on Tuesday in Chicago. Kennedy misses and falls behind him 1-0. He checks in at 118. with 1 homer and 5 runs batted in. Fernando's had just 34 at bats with 4 hits for Houston.
Probably leaving Seton Hall right around the time Craig Biggio showed up.
Okay. That's a tough pitch. That evens the count at 1-1.
Tony, born in the Bronx, 49 years of age now.
Kennedy's had rough sledding in his last 2 starts with 2 losses and a 7.20 ERA. He's allowed 8 earned runs in his last 10 innings. It's 1-2 to Martinez. So you're right. If the D-backs are going to make a move, presumption would be that Kennedy's going to have to be a big part of that. He's 5-8 on the road this year with a 4.03 ERA. Since the All-Star break, Ian has won 4 and lost 3 with an ERA of 4.57.
Getting himself into a little bit of a bind here with the walks to Altuve and Wallace. And being a fly ball pitcher, a guy who gives up a lot of home runs, you really have to keep those walks down. Solo home runs generally aren't going to beat you, but those 3-run bombs tend to be problematic.
Kennedy was a first-round pick in 06 by the Yankees, 21st player drafted.
Change up.
Yes, it was. And Martinez is out number 2.
Falls to Tyler Green now. And there's a good changeup. Really makes a nice pitch. Really finishes this pitch well. Good hand speed. Good diving action as it gets into the hitting zone.
Tyler Green has looked very strong in an Astros uniform. And he was 2 for 4 with a homer last night, driving in 2. He's played 8 games for Houston, hitting .370. 6 runs scored in those 8 games, 2 doubles, 2 homers, and a steal. He looks at that one for ball 1. Green hitting in the number 5 spot in the lineup. And Tony made out that lineup card as he arrived this morning. 238 overall, including his St. Louis games for Tyler Green, with 6 bombs, 23 driven in. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count. This is the first time Tyler's batted in the number 5 spot in the order. Last night he hit 2nd.
You're looking for somebody to come through with a big knock. Those numbers tell you Tyler Green, a good guy to have up there.
Fly ball goes to right field, backing up Parra a few steps. And Kennedy works around a couple of first inning walks to match the 0 posted by Galarraga after 1.
Obasa and Budweiser is available every Thursday home game. including August 30th, by the way. That's when the Giants are here. Purchase a loaded ticket that includes a Field Box 2-seat, Astros cap, sausage dog, and a value draft beer or soda for only $30. Root now and buy your tickets at astros.com/guys night. And remember, that's every Thursday. Guys?
It's 0-0 after 1. Miguel Montero will lead it off in the second inning. Montero with fantastic numbers this season. One of the best catchers in the majors. He leads all catchers with 70 runs batted in. He has 14 homers, a .287 average, and a .397 on base percentage. Montero starts with that open stance. He takes ball 1 from Galarraga. Montero last night had a double and 2 walks.
Yeah, and the way he shuts down the running game, he's really a complete player.
You liked Pudge Rodriguez's work habits. And Montero has proven to be every bit as durable over a short haul as a lot of catchers are in the game today. He's just turned 29. Catches an awful lot of innings. Just signed a 5-year deal, so D-backs are hoping that continues for a while. This one goes toward the left field line. Fernando Martinez over. And that's out number 1. Galarraga falling behind 2-0, but getting a tough hitter. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. And that's 1 out for Galarraga. Gets him off and running here after falling behind. And Chris Young will be next. Guy who just lights up the Astros. He did it again last night. And there's something about Minute Maid Park that brings out the best in him. He is 5 for 9 in this series with a homer and 4 runs batted in.
Home cooking. He gets to come home and hang out with family and friends.
That's ball 1. Well, he mentioned that in one of the stories. They interviewed him after last night's game. He's now a .386 lifetime hitter at Minute Maid Park. 57 at bats. He said, yeah, it's positive vibes with the family being here and going back home and hearing all those great comments. No negativity to deal with. In the air, and here comes the third baseman, Scott Moore, and the catcher will not have a play either. Jason Castro on a foul, strike 2. They were sure cheering for him last night. We had some shots of that family section for the D-backs. Not only for Chris Young, but we've got Paul Goldschmidt from the Woodlands. Matt Albers here. He's living in the Woodlands now, so the D-backs have their own rooting section here at Minute Maid Park. Galarraga misses. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes as he shoots for his first win as an Astro. Last year, Armando pitched for Arizona. He was 3-4 with the D-backs in 8 starts with a .591 ERA. He's from Venezuela. Began his career in the Montreal organization before being traded to Texas. Then he went to Detroit. Released by Baltimore earlier this year. That's when the Astros scooped him up. Broken bat looper out to Altuve. He'll play it on 1 hop and throw to first to get Young. 2 down for Galarraga. Stephen Drew will be next. The Arizona club will be headed for home after this one and a 10-game homestand. 198 for Drew, 2 homers, 12 runs batted in. Drew was 0 for 4 with an RBI in last night's game. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter in the opener of this series Friday night. This is the final game between the two this year. Ball 1 to Drew with Wheeler on deck.
Drew, one of 5 left-handed bats in the lineup today for Kirk Gibson. So far this year, at least at the big league level, right-handed hitters have been better against Galarraga than lefties. Right-handed hitters hitting .283 against them, lefties .250. I think his stuff plays better against lefties. I think that 2-seamer running away and changeup are his best weapons.
Smacked on 1 bounce to Tyler Green, positioned perfectly to take care of out number 3, and it's a quick second for Galarraga in a scoreless game.
kids. He caught the activity last Saturday when the lacrosse was featured. Emily Reppert hosts the show, and it's on every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston. You can also visit HometownKids.tv for more information. When are they going to do mud wrestling?
Oh, we haven't heard about that yet, Greg. Brian Bogusevic takes strike one, 215, 6 homers, 23 runs batted in for Brian. Trying to get trouble started for Ian Kennedy here. He is 0 for 1 in this series. It'll be interesting to see the lineups now as they're put together by Tony DeFrancesco starting today to see what changes he might have in store compared to what we've been watching. And who plays, that sort of thing. 1 and 2. Different perspective, of course. Different guy in the dugout. And he has a knowledge of these players, having managed many of them at Oklahoma City and in spring training. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I like Jimmy Williams always had the comment that the players make out the lineup.
True.
And playing good, you're swinging it well, you're going to be in there.
Joe Patini, the bench coach, alongside. There's a strikeout for Kennedy. That's number 2.
Pretty impressive job there of working up then down. A lot of high fastballs and a good sharp breaking pitch to get the swing and miss.
Here's quite a play last night from Brandon Barnes in center field.
And some bright moments for the Astros despite the lopsided loss. And good nights at the plate for a couple of guys. And then this diving play in center field by Brandon Barnes had everybody up on their feet applauding.
Including Steve Pearce. Barnes just hit his first major league homer a few days ago in Chicago, and then that spectacular catch got him the #1 catch of the night on some of the highlight shows. There's strike 1 to Brandon.
I'll probably turned on that blue star down there, I bet.
Oh, I bet he did.
Next year we're going to get Brownie a gong. And every time something good happens, Brownie's going to stand up and bang his gong.
I thought you wanted to gong me. Remember the old Gong Show?
Maybe the best show in the history of television.
Yeah, it was. Happy birthday wishes go out today to Kathy Swait from Austin. Big Astros fan. Her birthday is actually tomorrow, but we're not on tomorrow. Tomorrow's an off day for travel.
You know, and we owe a belated birthday. I forgot about this one. Been sitting on it for a while now. Wayne Dykes, diehard Astro fan. I think he just turned 97 or 87. And I apologize for missing the actual date, Wayne.
The liner to right field, and that's in for a hit for Barnes. First hit by an Astro today to get something going here in the second inning. Dan Radisson, the new first base coach, welcomes a customer. And it's Jason Castro batting next. Castro at 246 with 2 homers has driven in 20. Jason 0 for his last 9 now. He's 0 for 4 in this series. Pitcher's spot due up next. Also, it's that day. It's going back to college time for some of the interns who have been around Astros baseball for the summer months. Some of them in their last day of their internships. Strike 1, like Francesca Ossi. She's going back to the University of Rochester. She's been the media relations intern. And Brittany Lamas is going back to UT, and so is Rachel Fry. So the internships turn over, and a new crop will be coming in.
Yeah, just when you learn somebody's name, they're gone.
True.
So you're the person I saw listed on that email. Okay.
Well, goodbye.
How long are you going to be here? Are you leaving tomorrow? All right, well.
Yeah, no more emails. No
Good
balls,
luck.
2 strikes, yeah. Now Jason's got a battle here, falling behind Ian Kennedy.
Wayne Dykes was 97 on Saturday, August 11th. So happy birthday, Wayne, and again, my apologies for missing that one.
Strikeout for Kennedy. That's number 3 for him, and Galarraga will follow.
It's the challenge with Ian Kennedy is to get that fastball down into a more manageable area where you can get the head of the bat on it. If you keep swinging up there, he's just going to keep throwing it up there, and it's going to be a long day for the Astro hitters.
Now Galarraga 0 for 7. with the Astros, trying to get something here with 2 outs and a runner on at first. Try to advance Barnes, put the ball in play in some fashion, and avoid chasing that high heater we've seen the other guys swinging at. That's strike 1 to him. Galarraga is looking for his first major league hit in 30 at bats. 0 for 30 with 2 runs scored. He does have an RBI and 3 walks. High chop brings in the shortstop Drew. Drew throwing on the run to Goldschmidt, and it's no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left after 2 at Minute Maid Park. No score.
Between the Astros and D-backs, and it's time for our progressive fan of the game. As you might know, all season long, the Astros have been honoring members of our military, and we're going to do that with the fan of the game today. Army Specialist Michael Spohr has just returned from Afghanistan. Welcome home.
Thank you.
How long were you over there?
There 6 months.
And where were you stationed?
I was at FOB Salerno in Afghanistan.
How great is it to be back?
It's awesome to be back.
What's the best part?
Real food.
And Astros games.
Yes, of course.
How long have you been an Astros fan?
My entire life. Born and raised in Houston.
Okay. Favorite all-time player?
Jeff Kent.
Jeff Kent. There's one we don't hear a lot.
Yes.
But you had a chance with some of your mates to get down in the field and meet some of the players before the game?
Yes, earlier we did on the field and in the press area. That was nice for them to do that for us.
Who'd you meet?
We met Wesley Wright and Tyler Green.
Good. So this has been a great experience for you, huh?
Thank you. Thank you for all this.
Well, we certainly appreciate the service of all you guys and the sacrifices you make in your families. And so for that, we want to make you our progressive fan of the game on behalf of all the members of the military up here. Way to go, guys. We appreciate you very much. Michael, welcome home, pal.
Thank you.
Brownie, back to you.
Very nice, Bart. Great to have those guys back and enjoying the day. And Jeff Kent's going to be back here in September to throw out a first pitch on one of those flashback Fridays. So maybe he'll have to come back and watch J.K. We hit that big home run in the playoffs to beat the Cardinals. Now Galarraga in a 0-0 game. Begins the 3rd inning of work. Ryan Wheeler hit his first major league homer in this series. 194, 1 homer, 3 runs batted in. It came last night in the 7th inning. Got his first major league hit against the Astros in Arizona a month ago.
Is J.K. going to come up here and be on with us when he's in town?
I hope so.
It'll be the first chance we ever had to talk to him.
That's why we're hoping it happens. We hope he'll talk to us.
It could be a long interview.
Yeah. We better get those questions ready. I have to talk to Bart and Gilu about how to prepare
Not
questions.
the most gregarious guy back in the day.
No balls, 2 strikes. You know, Luis Gonzalez working Diamondbacks TV next door is coming back for that gathering in mid-September when a whole lot of guys who put on the Astros uniform will be together at one place and one time. That'll be fun. It's mid-September.
September 21st, I think.
That one is okay. It's not
Legends Weekend, they're calling it.
That's it. 21st. All right. 1 ball, 2 strikes with Kennedy on deck.
21st, 2nd, and 3rd. The Pirates are in town that weekend.
Is it the whole weekend?
Yeah, there's. I believe so. There's going to be a suite on Friday night, and then
great
stuff going on.
So do you get to go out there with them?
I'll be busy working.
Well, I got to cut you some slack on that. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I don't really like that many of my ex-teammates anyway. That ship has sailed. I've moved on from that.
I know you don't want to ask for a day off, but I'll ask for it for you. I'll be your agent and try to get you a night in the suite.
If I get a day off, odds are I'm not going to be at the ballpark.
Good point. Swing and a miss by Wheeler, and Galarraga had some movement going for his first strikeout of the day.
Pretty good life on this fastball. Again, I think his stuff plays better to left-handed hitters. I like that 2-seamer running away, changeup. Against the righties, he's going to rely more on his slider. And that pitch sometimes a little tougher to command. You tend to make more mistakes with the breaking ball.
Your point is playing out very well before our very eyes. 28 pitches so far for Galarraga. Kennedy has not done much at the plate. He has 2 hits. Well, he's put down 6 sacrifice bunts, but 0-56 when he swings away with 4 runs batted in for Ian Kennedy. But he was in the American League for a while. That one's to Scott Moore. And it's out, number 2. Galarraga clipping right along here, and it'll be Parra coming up next. Parra will stall for a little while so Kennedy can trot back and maybe get a drink of water before he heads for the mound.
Mondo's made 4 starts with the Astros this year. The longest he's gone in any one of those games is 5 1/3 innings. That was his start in Atlanta. So he's really putting himself in pretty good shape here this afternoon, barring a big explosion like we saw last night. Even Tony D, 6+ innings here today, perhaps.
Yeah. I guarantee you, JD, Parra's going to take this pitch. Because a leadoff guy is supposed to take the first pitch after the pitcher grounds out. And there are 2 outs in the inning, right?
Yeah, he's showing bunt, taking all the way. Galarraga wasn't buying it, though. He threw a changeup. But a lot of times what a pitcher will do is, as you're working your way back to the dugout, you'll pass the hitter and you'll just say, hey, go ahead and swing. I'm fine. Give the guy a green light. You don't need to take a pitch from me.
Well, it's early in the game, air conditioning. Ground ball dropped by Altuve. He scrambles for it and throws over to Wallace to make it a very quick 3rd inning, and that is 8 straight, set down by Galarraga in a scoreless game.
In 2004, the Astros turned their most recent triple play Morgan Ensberg to Jeff Kent to Mike Lamb. They were out to defeat the Phillies 12-10 after trailing 7-2. Chad Qualls got his first Major League Baseball win. And Morgan Ensberg's in the news today. He's in the Twitter news. He is unofficially, very highly unofficially, tossed his name into the ring to be the next manager at Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that tongue is in his cheek or not. As it was with Bill Veeck, today was the Eddie Goodell day with the St. Louis Browns.
Oh, yeah.
Fitting that Altuve's up to hit.
There's ball one to Altuve, who walked in the first inning. Well, the Astros have not yet announced who the AAA manager will be beyond today. Leon Roberts, who's been the hitting coach, is going to take over the reins of the Red Hawks today. And then they'll make an announcement tomorrow about who will replace Tony DeFrancesco at the helm of that club. 1-1 to Altuve. And it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And we'd just like to pass along our best wishes to Brad Mills, Bobby Meacham, Mike Barnett. They're all great people.
Great people, great coaches. This, I mean, these guys came to the park every day and put in their time and worked very hard. And obviously, it's not a whole lot of fun when you're losing like the Astros are. So, in a sense, they get a nice little paid vacation. If I'm Millsy, boy, I'm heading to the golf course or go watch his son play, catch up with the grandkids, and decompress a little bit. He's earned it.
Right, and he wants to, of course, stay in baseball, so he may not get too many more chances for a summer vacation.
Yeah.
Well, there's a souvenir. And it's 2-2 as Altuve whacked that one down the right field line. Ian Kennedy went to Southern Cal. Fly ball, and the first baseman Goldschmidt goes over toward foul territory here for out number one. Well, Kennedy, with that good pedigree from a strong baseball program, worked 222 innings last year. In fact, all 5 members of the projected rotation for the D-backs had a career high workload last year. Kennedy, 222 innings. Daniel Hudson, who's out this year with Tommy John surgery, worked 222. Joe Saunders was over 200. Trevor Cahill over 200. Josh Colmeter had 154. Ball one to Scott Moore, put down a sac bunt. 252 for Scott with 7 homers. It's 1-1. That's one thing that makes it difficult for teams to repeat when they have 5 starters, as the D-backs did last year, who put on all those innings and then went on and added more in postseason play to try to repeat that the next year. But they've worked in some younger pitchers along the way.
Yeah, and I guess it just depends on what the player did coming up through the system, because 220 innings is not a substantial number of innings. I mean, it's kind of a goal now to get 200 innings out of a starting pitcher, but it's not anything that should be problematic.
Well, you're right. In fact, Lucas Harrell was saying a couple days ago, he said, I pitched 200 innings before. I don't think it's a problem to shut me down this year. He said, I'll do whatever they want. But he said, I'd like to keep going if I can. Foul back. 3 balls, 2 strikes for Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, the guy's battling, all year. If he pitches 200 innings, but he's been on the DL, or he's had a tender elbow or shoulder problems, and maybe that's a little bit of a red flag where you might have to back him off the next year. But if a guy makes 30-plus starts and goes through the season like a normal pitcher, to me, 220 innings is not a big deal. Mm-hmm. Unless you're coming for a guy who's never pitched 150 innings before.
Right. There's a good heater for strikeout number 4 for Kennedy. And Brett Wallace comes up. He walked in the first inning. Kennedy walked 2 in that frame. It's unusual for him, and in fact for just about any Diamondback pitcher. They are second in the majors in fewest walks this year. Breaking pitch goes for ball 1 to Brett Wallace. The Reds lead the Cubs 4-1. They've played 5 in Cincinnati, with Matt Latos pitching well for the Reds. Foul back, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Reds looking strong with a 6.5 game lead on Pittsburgh right now. The Reds have a .603 winning percentage, second in the National League only to Washington. Washington waiting through a rain delay right now to start with the Mets in Washington. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Gio Gonzalez will do the hurling for Washington this afternoon. Dodgers lead Atlanta 1-0. They've just scored in the top of the 5th inning. They're still batting against Mike Minor. They got a home run from Cruz, his 4th of the year. Billingsley pitching for the Dodgers. That's strikeout number 5. And very sharp. Ian Kennedy mows the Astros down in the 3rd inning to keep this game scoreless.
Coca-Cola Astro Buddy Kids Club news. Before the season ends, get your young fan exclusive Astro retro gear celebrating the team's 50th anniversary. For only $20, kids can be a Buddy's MVP member and receive an Astros orange and blue style baseball cap and a rainbow jersey drawstring bag and a commemorative wall banner. Get it all now at astros.com/buddies.
Oh, yeah. There's the starters comparison. Galarraga has not walked anybody, struck out 1, throwing 32 pitches compared to Ian Kennedy's 50 through the first 3. Aaron Hill doubled to left for the 1 hit that he's allowed. There's strike 1. He's retired 8 in a row after the Hill double. Hill was stranded at 3rd, and Kubel hit that ball to Altuve's right. Jose making a nice play to help Galarraga put up that first inning 0. The arm slot there, and it's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. The bottom of the 5th at Detroit, Baltimore leads the Tigers 7-5. Wei-Yin Chen on the mound. It's lined deep to left field, and that one will reach the seats. Home run, Aaron Hill, number 16, and it's 1-0 Arizona as Hill hits his 2nd in as many games.
Halfway to the cycle, he's hit for the cycle twice already this year, double and now a home run. And this is precisely what I was talking about, the left-right breakdown with Galarraga stuff and the way it works. Tends to make more mistakes with the slider. You see that slider just back up, stay up in the zone on the inside part of the plate. And Hill did the rest.
1-0 as the D-backs get their 129th home run. They are 5th in the National League in long balls. Jason Kubel bats. Kubel takes a strike. Chris Davis hit his 20th home run today for Baltimore. Omar Infante number 11. Johnny Peralta number 9 for Detroit. There's one into right field, a single for Kubel, and it's back-to-back hits now for the D-backs. Well, Goldschmidt will bat. Goldschmidt hit a fly ball to center. As of right now, Baltimore is a playoff team in the American League. In third place in the AL East, but as of right now, it would be the Yankees winning the division and Tampa Bay and Baltimore going as wild card clubs.
It'd be fun to see Baltimore in there, get some new blood. It's been a while since the Birds have been in the postseason.
It has been a while. But that Tampa Bay comeback last night over the Angels, that was a crazy game. C.J. Wilson on the mound with an 8-0 lead, and it got away. 10-8.
Bullpen's been a mess, though, hasn't it? All year out there.
It has, but they left him in. I think he squandered all those runs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, probably because the bullpen's been so bad.
Yeah, and they want to get him going. That kind of thing. Swing and a miss by Goldschmidt. Takes the count to no balls, 2 strikes. So, there are rumors now that Mike Scioscia may not be back as the skipper of the Angels next year.
People.
Yeah.
Just give the man the job and leave him alone. Good grief.
He has been terrific as their skipper down through the years.
Thinking.
They just haven't pitched well. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They've gotten that terrific season from Trout. Pujols has come around. He hit a long home run last night. Got an offense from others on that club, but they have not pitched well this year. But that's the biggest lead the Angels have ever had at home and then lost the game. There's a liner over shortstop into left field. Goldschmidt picks up a single. Kubel going to second, and it's 3 straight hits for the Snakes.
Yeah, starting to resemble last night's 5th inning, but again, this is a pretty good pitch. Change up, down, but moving in a little bit on Goldschmidt. If that ball's over the outside edge, it's tougher for him to do anything with it, but that ball floated back over the plate a little bit. As you take a look at the American League East, the Yankees, the comfortable margin over Tampa Bay and Baltimore, but the wild card, a lot of teams still in the mix in both leagues. See who's going to break from the peloton and take charge. And how about some AL MVP candidates for you? Mike Trout, just a remarkable young player. Cabrera, a beast. Don't you know? Robinson Cano. Josh Hamilton got into that prolonged funk, but he's starting to show signs of life here lately. He's been hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Can never take him out of that conversation.
No. Miguel Montero hit a fly ball to left in the second inning. Doug Brocail out with a visit to Galarraga now. Try to get him a double play ball. Montero's jammed on it. He punches one in the air to shallow left field. Fernando Martinez in for the catch. That's out number 1. There's a note about that Roy Oswalt game last night. He was 1 out short of qualifying for the win. As the Rangers started, who went 4 2/3, had a 2-1 lead. He was pulled from the game, and Oswalt said afterwards, "I've started 330 games in the big leagues. I don't think I need to prove myself." And the note from Alliance Sports Bureau says actually it was his 333rd start, and he may have a point. Chris Young, the batter. The last pitcher with that much starting experience to be removed 1 out short of 5 innings and a potential victory, who allowed just 1 run in the game, was Walter Johnson in 1924.
Roy should feel honored that he's in the same club as Walter Johnson. I think Wash went to a lefty against a tough left-handed hitter. And Roy hadn't pitched in quite some time.
Yeah. Altuve shading near the bag on Young. And the pitch is inside for a ball to make it 1-1. Stephen Drew on deck. The 9-run 5th last night for the D-backs was a season high for them.
Wash probably willing to take some hits from Oswalt as long as he pitches well.
Exactly. Texas leading currently 10-2 at Toronto after 6. Michael Young hit his 4th home run. Chris Young fouls it back, and it's 1-2 to Chris.
Well, you know, Young wants to swing the bat with the damage he's done over the years in this ballpark. The night he had last night, he's got a couple of men on base. You really should be able to take advantage of that if you're Galarraga, especially now that you got the jump on him.
Young has hit safely in 8 straight games against the Astros. Gets this one over shortstop into left center field. Here's Kubel around third, coming in to score run number 2 and make it 2-0 Snakes. Young drives in his 35th of the year, and 9 of those have come against Astros pitching.
Again, not a terrible pitch. Young didn't hit it that hard. Tumbling off-speed pitch, didn't quite have the sharpest action. And again, for me, that situation where, given those factors I talked about, go way up or way out with a breaking ball. See if you can get him to chase. Again, it's not like he blistered that ball, but I think in that situation, down in the count, you could have gotten him to really expand. It would have been worth a shot.
Stephen Drew grounded out on a 2-0 count back in the second inning. Tyler Green goes to the bag, but here go the runners now, and the throw goes on the trailing runner to second, and that's not in time. So it's a double steal. Goldschmidt goes to third, Young to second on the double steal by Arizona.
Well, that was funky looking. Green standing on the bag when Galarraga makes the pitch. A whole lot going on there. Then the throw goes through to second base. Young was breaking it down.
Goldschmidt stealing third for the second time in this series. That's his 13th steal of the year and 15 tries. Young picks up his 7th steal. And in this inning, it's becoming a problem for Galarraga, trailing 2-0 with runners at second and third. Now the infield in with 1 out and an 0-1 count on Drew. Wheeler's on deck.
A bold move here by Tony DeFrancesco to pull the infield in. Situation where a base hit is going to score 2. But with Ian Kennedy on the mound, showing signs of pitching a shutdown game, he's willing to take the risk to pull to prevent that run from third from scoring, even at the risk of allowing the 2-run single.
Now 2-1 to Drew. Kansas City's Jeremy Guthrie has not allowed a hit through the first 4 against the White Sox in Kansas City. Jose Quintana pitching for Chicago in a 0-0 game after 3.5.
Jeremy Guthrie, this year's recipient of the Boy Am I Glad to Get Out of Denver award. Things were just going miserably for him there, both on the mound and in the community. He fell off his bicycle early in the year and got hurt and spent some time on the DL.
He blew a tire riding a bike on the way to the ballpark. That's when you know you're having a bad year. Can't even get to the park without getting hurt. I just missed, and it's 3 balls and a strike to Drew.
Drew's not having much of a year. Of course, he's only played in 40 games. But still, with the base open, you don't need to give in here. If you put him on, then you can move your infielders back and play for a double play.
Number 8 hitter Wheeler on deck. Little chop goes to first base, but it's foul off his foot. 3-2 now to Drew. Had a broken ankle last year.
Challenged him with the 3-1 heater, and Drew couldn't do much with it other than whack it off his foot. Ankle, perhaps. That the one he broke?
I think he broke the right one. That limited him to about a little bit more than half a season last year, and then he might get in about a half a season this year. Long-term injury. Phillies got 2 in the second at Milwaukee against former Philly Randy Wolf. Martinez hit his second home run, and Phil's lead at 2-0 after 2. Drew takes a walk. So load the bases now with 1 out for Wheeler. First walk of the game for Galarraga. Coming into this game, he had walked 16 in 20 1/3 innings. As JD mentioned, some of those starts have been really dotted with a lot of walks. The one in Atlanta, 7 walks in 5 1/3 innings. Now the bullpen gets busy. And 6 walks here against Washington in 5 innings, but last time much better in terms of walks, 2 allowed in 5 innings, but he gave up a pair of 2-run homers to the Cubs.
Yeah, so he didn't get the positive results he wanted from throwing more strikes. It's kind of like a negative feedback situation. His ultimate line was better when he had all the walks.
Yeah. Now Wheeler looks at ball 1. He struck out in the 3rd inning. Wheeler's from Torrance, California. 23 years old. He and Chris Johnson have been sharing time at third base.
CJ really lit it up when he first joined the Diamondbacks. He's fallen on hard times lately.
2-0 to Wheeler. He went to Loyola Marymount University. We mentioned last night there's a young third baseman named Matt Davidson working his way up through the minors for the D-backs. They're very high on him. Ian Kennedy's on deck. Galarraga needs to come up with something here, trailing 2-0 in the count. And he does. 2-1. Kyle Kendrick's going for the Phillies today against Wolf in Milwaukee. Astros don't see the Phillies again until September. Their next road trip, which begins Tuesday night in St. Louis, will also take them to Citi Field in New York next weekend to meet the Mets.
Haven't seen the schedule for next year yet. The preliminary draft is out and about, but report online today that our interleague rival next year is going to be the Cardinals.
I had heard that the Astros would be going to St. Louis. Okay, well, we had heard some rumors earlier about maybe Arizona or Colorado being the interleague rival next year. Now that'll walk in a run and make it 3-0. Wheeler picking up his 4th run batted in, and fans getting restless here. 4 hits and 2 walks in the inning. Tony DeFrancesco surveys the situation here, with Arizona having collected 3 runs on 5 hits so far. And warning everybody about a bunt possibility here with the bases loaded on Kennedy. Kennedy grounded out earlier.
Can't rule it out even though the bases are loaded. I think Kirk Gibson wants to see happen in this inning is Gerardo Parra get up there to hit. Obviously double play takes away that chance.
It's a liner to left, backing up Martinez. Here's the catch and the tag at third by Young, and he comes home. And it's 4-0 on a sacrifice fly by Kennedy, giving him his 5th RBI of the season. Young scoring. The other runners holding.
Kennedy, for a guy hitting 054, has had 2 really good swings today. First time up, he hit the ball sharply to third base for a ground out. Now he puts a good swing on this fastball for a sac fly on the line out there to F-Mart.
Young coming home to make it a 4-0 lead in another big inning. Parra will be the 9th snake to bat here in the 4th inning. Last night they sent 12 men to the plate in the 5th, scoring 9 times. So the Big Bang Theory indeed has been a part of their attack this weekend. Parra twice is grounded to Altuve. He looks at ball 1. The D-backs go home. They'll play Miami, San Diego, and Cincinnati in a 10-game homestand. beaten the Astros 8 times in a row, and their overall record against Houston is 63-42. Squirted foul, and it's a 1-1 count to Parra.
Series going on in St. Louis this weekend. The Pirates and the Cardinals have split the first 2 games of their weekend series. They're scoreless now in the 4th. Jaime Garcia back for the Cardinals.
That could be a big rejoin for them to their rotation.
In a long while. He's pitched well today. 4 innings of shutout baseball with 7 strikeouts.
I think they sent Joe Kelly to the bullpen to make room for Garcia in the rotation.
His first start since June 5th here in Houston. Jeff Karstens pitching well for Pittsburgh today.
Smash to center field. A long run back for Barnes. Barnes over the shoulder. Can't make that catch. It bounces out of play. And that's a double for Parra, scoring Drew from second base. Wheeler goes to third, and it's 5-0 now. And Parra's 31st run batted in.
Tony DeFrancesco is going to come out and make a pitching change.
Hit above the yellow line. That meant it was out of play. Mickey Story's coming in for the bullpen as Tony DeFrancesco makes his first major league managerial pitching change. And the score is Arizona 5, Houston nothing back at home. With runners at second and third, and already 5 runs in this inning. He is 0-1 in 7 games with a 3.12 ERA.
He's got to tame Aaron Hill, who's off to a great start here this afternoon. Doubled in the first, and then a home run way back in the 4th. Oh wait, this is the 4th.
Oh yeah,
he's having a heck of an inning.
Yeah, 2 extra base hits in this game already. And when he led off the inning with a home run, that began the big bang that the D-backs have carried on through. They followed with 4 singles and 2 walks after his leadoff home run in the inning. Story with the curveball, missing ball 1. Story struck out 3 on Wednesday against the Cubs, working 1 1/3 innings. He did not give up a run in that game. Since he joined the club August 3rd, he leads all Astros relievers in innings pitched with 8 2/3. This is his 8th appearance already.
Big inning continues to be a big problem for Astros starters this year.
Yeah, things were going along very well through the first 3 for Galarraga.
Yeah. Retired 9 of the first 10 and then had 7 out of 9 reach.
That's a ball to Hill, and the count runs to 2-1 on Aaron. Boston and the Yankees play tonight at Yankee Stadium. Josh Beckett and Hiroki Kuroda will pitch that one. San Francisco's at San Diego late this afternoon with 10-game winner Ryan Vogelsong opposing lefty Clayton Richard. Ground ball, and there's a play by Scott Moore to his left. He spins and throws, and Wallace digs it out for an outstanding defensive effort. But it's been a long top of the 4th inning for the Astros. The D-backs put together a 5-run frame. On 5 hits, they leave 2, and they're in front 5-0.
Progressive Insurance Group, or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Mattress Firm. Save money, sleep happy.
There's the big boot. Fernando Martinez and the Astros would like to give Ian Kennedy a big boot. He has a 5-0 lead now, throwing strike 1 as the home 4th inning gets underway. Fernando struck out in the 1st. And he shoots this one out to Chris Young's right, and this one will sail way over Chris Young's head and kick back in. And that's a double to get something going for the Astros in the 4th. Martinez gets his second
base umpire saying home run.
Ooh. Now he'll continue the trot around to make it 5-1.
And Danley eyeballing that one. Kirk Gibson's going to come out and chat with the umpires and see if they'll take a look at the video on this one. Fernando hit that big home run straightaway center field in Wrigley on the road trip. Goes to the big part of the yard again here today. He's got a lot of pop in that bat. Let's see. Oh, that's a double. I think they're going to look at that one, and that's going to come back. Hit the Papa John sign, did it not?
Oh, did it? Okay, couldn't tell on that.
That's what I'm seeing.
Well, if that's the case, it's a double for sure. Yep. Well, Papa John sign.
Yeah, to the right of that yellow line, it's a home run. And when this ballpark first opened, this would have been a home run. The bullpen was in play, but now see the yellow line up above there. They changed the dimensions.
Now the umpire's going to go take a look. And Kennedy, well, Chris Young was gesturing back as if to say, no, it's not a home run, and trying to help his manager come out and ask for a review.
Mark my scorecard home run already.
All right, we'll get you some white out.
Well, he's going to come around and score anyway. I just filled it in. So.
Okay.
But more importantly, it just cost me 2 points in our game. I got Fernando Martinez on my team here today.
Okay. Well, he'll have to come back to second, but he might win a pizza. Well hit ball, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Very well hit.
Yeah.
Well, as you talked about that one in Chicago, and people who are watching might remember that shot. It's going to be interesting to see if he can do that with some regularity here. He should be getting fair number of at-bats. It is a double for Martinez. Looks like he would be in for a lot of playing time. We'll wait and see how that plays out here in the final 6 weeks of the season. Yeah, if it's to the right of that yellow line, top to bottom, it's a homer, but it was to the left. So a double for Martinez. Hit number 2 for the Astros. And it's Green coming up next. Astros to play catch up by providing long balls. They've been out homered this year, 143 to 105, but that's a good start as they try to peck away here with Green batting. Green has that kind of power. He hit a fly ball to right first time up, so he might be able to provide some long ball help. Showing butt, he takes the ball. And he wouldn't be sacrificing here, but might be bunting for a hit.
Yeah, he had Wheeler back. Wheeler was deep there prior to the pitch, so I think he was thinking about dropping a bunt down for a knock.
Sevic on deck.
Now Wheeler's up in front of third base, essentially taking that option away.
Might help him to hit one by the third sacker. Goes foul, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Happy fella, all adorned in black today. Been a big tax-free sale on this weekend at the team stores here. A lot of folks are outfitted in their garb. That pitch off the plate, and it's 2 balls and a strike for Ian Kennedy. Okay.
He lucky didn't get that one in the nose.
Very lucky. Didn't have to move, and he was in a good spot.
Never trust a guy in jorts to make the play for you.
Jorts. 3 balls and a strike. Do you think the guys in jorts play jarts? 3-1. Six hits for the D-backs, 2 for the Astros. No errors in the game. Each club has left 3. There's a line into right center field and charged, and a diving play by Parra. Now here's the tag, and here's the throw into third and hitting. And it's backed up by the pitcher, but what a play by Parra in right. That's his specialty, coming in toward the infield, making that diving catch.
Well, a great swing of the bat by Tyler Green. Astros trying to put an inning together, and this is what good defense will do for you. Parra closes in a hurry, puts it away, and then after a little hesitation gets up to make the throw, and kind of an ill-advised advance there by Fernando. Turned out well for him, but he got lucky that ball hit him in the back. Down 5 runs, you can't afford to really take chances on the bases.
He was hit by that throw, otherwise he might have been out.
Yeah.
Now Bogusevic bats with a runner at 3rd and 1 out.
You want to play aggressive, you want to play heads up, you want to be ready to take advantage of extra base opportunities, but you got to be mindful of the game situation. And again, it worked out. He's there at third base with just 1 out now. Great opportunity for Bogusevic to get him home.
Ryan struck out in the 2nd inning. And tied for ball 1. Cincinnati batting in the bottom of the 7th leads the Cubs 4-3.
Some baseball lessons are easy to teach others. You know, when the guy's safe, that's a tough, for the manager to tell the guy, you probably shouldn't have been advancing. Well, wait a minute, Skip, I got to third base with 1 out. I was safe. Yeah, but it's a 5-0 game. Got to be careful.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Kennedy again working upstairs with fastballs to Bogusevic. A good low fastball hitter. He worked up in the zone with heaters last time and then finished him off with a good sharp breaking ball. Everything's been up here so far.
Little roller to third. Wheeler, 2 outs. You think that's a good strategy? Let's say a guy's a good fastball hitter. So you give him the pitch he wants, but not where he wants it.
Yeah, well, I think like most left-handed hitters, Brian's got a hole up above the hands, that up and in spot. Get a lot of swings and misses up there.
2 outs, and it's Barnes. He shot a single to right field in the second inning. Big 2-out knock would come in handy for the Astros here, trailing by 5. Jason Castro on deck.
Handy in more ways than one. Like I said, I've already got Fernando scored in my card because I thought he hit a home run. So
we've got to save JD.
We got to get this home here.
It's the save JD scorecard hit.
Line drive to right center.
In the dirt, it's ball 2. 2-0 to Brandon Barnes.
Brandon, just 25 at bats so far at the big league level after having a great year down in the minor leagues. First at AA Corpus and then AAA Oklahoma City. Had some highlight moments already. First big league hit, then his first home run coming at Wrigley, and the catch he made last night.
And remembering when he was called up by the Astros not very long ago, he was called into the manager's office at Oklahoma City. Tony DeFrancesco discussed the game that they had just played and then got around to telling him that he was headed for the big leagues. So Tony can share that moment with a few of his players on the Astros. Strike makes it 3-1 now. Barnes is from Orange, California, went to Cypress College. He takes ball 4. That's his first walk. And walk number 3 for Ian Kennedy. He had 2 of those in the first innings. It's 2 of the first 3 batters. Now it'll be Castro batting.
Kennedy there unwilling to give in, trying to clip that outside corner to Barnes. A little bit surprising given that it's a 5-0 game. Take that shot, risk putting another man on base.
Right. Castro struck out in the second inning.
Of course, when you're a guy like Kennedy, who's only walked 33 all year, you're pretty good at hitting your spots. You feel comfortable if you're shooting for that outside edge. You can make a pitch.
Castro looks at it. It's ball 1 to Jason. Dodgers 1, Braves nothing. They've played 6 in Atlanta. Dodgers had 4 hits last night. I think they were all homers. 2 balls, no strikes. That's an odd game.
Garvey say Lopes and Baker.
Sounds good. Now Montero out. We see Wesley Wright in the bullpen. You know, I've been kind of checking the minor league stats from week to week, JD, as fans like to do. Looking at the AAA club, Oklahoma City, for possible September call-ups or possible help even before the month of September. Fernando Abad is on the 40-man roster. He is now back in the starting rotation for Oklahoma City.
I like that. I like that move. I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good starter.
Ben Francisco's on deck. Pitcher Spadu up next. In the air and on the infield, it's Wheeler moving over toward third. And in the 4th inning, it's no runs a hit, 2 men stranded after 4, 5-0 Arizona.
Field, Mazda's What Do You Drive? Astros get a day off on Monday before heading to St. Louis to start a 3-game series on Tuesday. Game 1 of that series ought to be a pretty good pitching battle. Lucas Harrell won for the Astros, coming off his 10th win of the season over the Cubs. He threw 8 innings in that one, allowed just 1 run. But he'll be going up against Adam Wainwright, who's 2-0 against the Astros this year, 11-1 against Houston for his career. So Lucas better bring his A game. Game 1 of that series, 7:05 on Tuesday night, 6:30 Astros Live on the air. That's your Mazda game break. Let's go back to the booth. Brownie and JD.
Wainwright really a key man in the Cardinals' chances to return to the playoffs this year. Mickey Story in this 5-0 game came in to get the final out of the 4th inning. And now it's Jason Kubel leading off the 5th. Kubel singled and scored in that 4th. He's 1 for 2. Strike 1 for Story. Galarraga went 3 2/3, allowing 5 hits, 5 runs, walking 2, fanning 1. Foul ball makes it no balls, 2 strikes for Story. Mickey, native of Florida, getting his first big league time in this year. Born in West Palm Beach, went to Florida Atlantic University. Astros signed him as a minor league free agent a year ago in June. He had been in the Oakland organization. Kubel looks at it, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Foul back by Kubel. Brian McTaggart writes at MLB.com that the Astros players are excited by Tony DeFrancesco's passion. He's paid his dues in the minor leagues. Infield has shifted around, and Tyler Green's on the first base side of second. Story fell off a little bit. Didn't look like his delivery was quite in sync with his landing foot that time, and it's 2-2. Like he lost his balance a bit. Altuve's out in short right field. Kubel takes strike 3. Good pitch.
Lit up curveball dropping in on the back door.
Paul Goldschmidt singled to left in the 4th inning. Paul 1 for 2. That's strike 1. Diamondbacks are 8-8 in the month of August. And they know they'll have to pick up that pace if they're to get back to the playoffs this year. They're 2 games above 500 right now. Altuve shaded up the middle for Goldschmidt. He fouls that one back. 1-2. San Francisco has only a half-game lead on LA. Arizona's 5 behind. Well, for the wild card, Arizona is not in very good shape. 5th place. 2 of those teams, of course, will go to the playoffs. But 5 games back. And with head-to-head meetings coming up with the Giants and Dodgers, of course.
Cardinals have to like their chances. They have 9 games left with the Astros. Matchups I'm sure they feel like they could take advantage of, and that's, you know, a lot of the thinking is that at least one of those wild card spots will come out of the Central because the Astros and the Cubs are easy to beat right now.
Well, that's a factor. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Just checking the D-backs record against the Dodgers. They're 8-4 Against the Giants, they're 5-4. But they're 23-18 against the NL West. That's not a great record.
And in September, there's a lot of play within the division.
Foul back. That's what makes it fun in a good race. Those head-to-head matchups.
Yeah, and I think that's why, you know, Atlanta's a very strong club, but they're at a little bit of a disadvantage in that. I think, you know, Philadelphia, even though they're having a bad year with that pitching, is a tough club to beat. And Miami, they've been very streaky all year. They could be tough. And New York's on the way down. New York should be fairly easy to beat. Unless you run into ARI at HOU.
Yeah. Foul back.
I'll tell Milo, watch that Blue Star. I don't mean beat every single night. I just mean in a series, 2 out of 3. You know, you go in and face a team. If you're a team in the hunt,
sure,
and you face a team at the bottom of the league standings, you feel like you should win that series. And you might run into a couple of hot pitchers and not be able to pull it off.
The Astros have lost 14 of their last 17 at home. Foul back. Washington came in here and swept them in a 4-game series. Arizona's trying to pull off a 3-game series sweep. It goes to the lady in green. They may be taking offers for it. That's punch foul, and that'll be out of play for Goldschmidt. Cubs have tied the Reds 4-4 by scoring a run in the top of the 8th inning. They're still batting against Matt Latos. Joey Votto's working his way back, maybe not too far away from returning to the Reds lineup. This will be the 10th pitch coming to Goldschmidt. He takes ball 4.
He earned it.
He really did. Walk number 3 for Astros pitching today. Miguel Montero will be next. He's 0 for 2 with 2 fly balls to left. David Murphy has added his 11th home run to the Rangers' cause, and they're up 11-2 in the bottom of the 9th at Toronto. Still delayed in Washington with the Mets and Nationals waiting for the rain to stop. And the White Sox still do not have a hit. They've played 6. They've batted through the 6th in Kansas City. The Royals now batting in the bottom half with the no-hitter underway for Jeremy Guthrie. Strike to Montero.
You mentioned that game with the Dodgers last night, 4 home runs. It was 2 for Hanley Ramirez, who's absolutely gone off since joining the Dodgers. James Loney hit his 4th, and Luis Cruz hit number 3.
So they had 4 hits, all homers. How many runs did they score? 5?
6?
6. Okay. Ben Sheets was tagged.
And allowed 6 runs in 6 innings on just the 4 hits. But you know, when those hits land on the other side of the wall,
a little more damage.
Yeah, it tends not to work out so well for you.
Well, they say solo homers won't beat you, but it sounds like they did.
They come in bunches. Yeah.
If you give up 4 of them, they might.
For every cliche, there's a corollary or a contradictory point of view. Hanley Ramirez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive multi-hit games now.
Somebody lit a fire under him when he got traded. Well, they built that Miami team around him. Fly ball goes outside the line and out of play, and it's 1-2.
Hitting .330 with the Dodgers. 4 home runs, 941 OPS.
Look at that.
Well, they got him done. Congratulations. Hit number 400 last night. Buster Posey has just been unbelievable since the All-Star break. It's David Deep Freeze.
It is.
And fairly pedestrian 3-3 with a 4.10 for Dickey since the break. Not horrible, but obviously not up to what he had done prior to the All-Star break.
Yeah. 2-2. He was up on Mount Kilimanjaro right around the break.
climbed that mountain last winter, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Last offseason.
I think that's in his book. I haven't read his book. Have you?
I have not.
It's supposed to be a good book. Have you read Calico Joe yet? By John Grisham?
No, I have not.
That's a good one, too. 3-2. Allison Footer was taking a look at that before the game today.
I read Bottom of the 33rd by Dan Barry.
Oh, how was that?
Outstanding.
How long has that been out?
Last year it came out.
Okay.
It's about the game and the longest game ever, the minor league game between Rochester and Pawtucket.
Yeah. Bottom of the 33rd. Yeah, that sounds like a good read. Mickey Story talking to Miguel Montero. 5-0 ball game, so his job is to slam the door, try to give his club a chance to get back in it. The Astros had that leadoff double in the 4th inning, but then they could never score Fernando Martinez after it looked like a home run for a moment or two. To some, they never got that run home. So they took it off the board, if anybody ever put it up. Runner going, and that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks.
Yeah, so I wonder if you're doing a White Sox game and Hawk has put one on the board, if he's put it on the board and then they review it, and does he have to take it off the board?
I think he does. To be honest, to follow through on that theme, yes, he does.
You can take it off the board. Yes. I guess it would be no. You'd have to finish up with a no.
I guess so. Well, it would be fun to hear that sometime from him.
He's a fun guy. I bet he would do it.
He would do it. He was reunited with Tom Paciorek over the weekend in Toronto.
Hawk and Wimpy, longtime partners there on the south side of Chicago.
They had a great time together. Now, Story after the visit by Brocail going back to work on Young.
Carr got into a dust-up with those guys back when he was managing. Remember, they were going to have a fight.
Didn't he think that they were signaling pitches from the booth?
They were calling them out because they were throwing at each other. And
okay.
Hawk or Wimpy, one of them, called Gar out on the air, didn't like what his team was doing. But, you don't do that to Gar. No. You don't tug on that cape.
By golly, it's a good thing we weren't up there, JD. We would have gotten into it with those fellas. Chris Young is 1 for 2. He drove in a run with a single. I don't think I'd want to tangle with Hawk. There's ball 1. Sound effects by Jason.
The call of the wild.
Well, the story about Hawk, as the count goes to 1-1 on Young, was that when he was with the Red Sox and Jim Rice came up, Rice wanted to hang around with him and learn more about hitting. And Hawk said, well, I'll do it on one condition, that we get up early in the morning, we go play golf. So he made Jim Rice play golf with him. And they got to be good friends, and they talked a lot of hitting. And Jim Rice credits Hawk Harrelson with his approach.
Baseball or golf?
Probably both. 1 and 2.
Ken Harrelson, I assume everybody knows what we're talking about. Ken Harrelson, the Hawk, a longtime broadcaster with the White Sox. He was a big leaguer for a number of different clubs. And his best year in '68 with Boston, hit 35 home runs, drove in 109, was an all-star that year.
Dana DeMuth and Jason Castro share a moment.
And then took a run at the Pro Tour, didn't he? Didn't he try in golf when he got done playing? He was 29 when he retired from baseball.
Wow. Was he injured a lot?
I don't know. I don't know that story. I don't know if there's injury or just boredom and he wanted to play golf.
Could have been that. 2 and 2. Wasn't he the first player to actually wear wristbands?
Was he?
I'm not sure. 30 pitches for Mickey Story.
Played from 63 through 71 and only played a little bit his last couple of years. So I'm guessing injuries got the best of him.
I believe you're right on that.
He's credited with batting gloves first.
Batting gloves, okay.
Because he played golf one morning and his fingers were all blistered, and teammate Sammy Esposito suggested he wears golf gloves so the manager wouldn't know about it.
That's what it was.
And he did, and that kind of started the whole thing. He was trying to protect the fact that he'd played golf all morning and blistered his hands so he wouldn't get fined, and he started a whole industry.
He certainly did. Hawk was born in Woodruff, South Carolina.
It's going to be a new part of our broadcast every night. Learn your fellow broadcasters.
He was nicknamed the Hawk due to his distinctive profile. His family moved to Savannah, Georgia when he was in the 5th grade. 2 balls, 2 strikes. His time with the Athletics ended abruptly. Young takes it for a ball. It's 3-2 to Chris when he denounced angrily the team owner Charlie Finley following the dismissal of manager Alvin Dark. He called Finley a menace to baseball. Harrelson was released. Ended up signing a lucrative deal with the Red Sox.
Got to remember who writes that check. Unless you want out.
Well, true. And he was traded to the Indians. And he had a broken leg. So that might have been one of his numbers. Grounder foul. Still 3-2 to Young.
Yeah, Chris Chambliss took his job and retired and pursued golf. I'm reading here on Wikipedia for what that's worth, and that may be where you are too. The batting glove deal is legend, they say. That actually in 1901, Huey Jennings is thought to have worn one, and then Lefty O'Doul and Johnny Frederick of the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 30s, Bobby Thompson in the 50s. Harrelson gets credit with reintroducing and popularizing the batting glove, but others had worn it prior to him, according to this story.
Okay. He was a stylish player, though.
A lot of stylish players in the 60s. It was a stylish era. Joe Pepitone.
Oh, yeah. Reggie Jackson came along in the late 60s.
A lot of flashy guys. Tito Fuentes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was a hot dog.
Willie Montañez.
Oh, there's another one. That's strike 3. Young thought ball 4, but it's out number 2. Mickey Story's throwing a lot of pitches here in this inning.
Chris, normally not a real patient hitter, doesn't walk a lot. And thought he had drawn one here on a high fastball. Number 8 there looks like it caught the top of the zone. It's one you often see call the ball up there.
Dana DeMuth had it as strike 3. Stephen Drew is grounded out. He's walked and scored. Astros pitchers have walked 4 now here in these back-to-back innings, the 4th and 5th. There's strike 1. Guthrie with a no-hitter through 6. He's taking the mound for the 7th. Kansas City leads it 2-0 over the White Sox. This one in the air, and Fred Wallace backs up the right field line, but gives way to Jose Altuve. And in the 5th inning, it's no runs, no hits, 2 men stranded, 5-0 Snakes. We have AT&T trivia for you. Kirk Gibson won the NL MVP 1988. One Astro finished in the top 10. Who was he? 88. Would that be a Kevin Bass year? No.
Well, I'm certainly was here.
Let's see. 88. I have to think about that. As Ben Francisco pinch hits for Mickey Story. And he takes strike one.
Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis might be the guy in 88. There's a smash into left field. Note coming in off the bench. Francisco delivers a hit. And he is now 3 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Let's see if it was Glenn Davis. AT&T will let us know. It was Glenn Davis. 30 homers, 99 runs batted in 152 games.
Let's see where he finished in 1988. Gibson, Strawberry, Reynolds, Van Slyke, Clark, Hershiser. Man, what a year he had. Andres Galarraga, and then Bootsy. Great. He finished second in 1986 in the MVP, voting to Mike Schmidt.
Altuve fouls it. There's strike one. Jose walked in the first. He fouled out in the third inning. Mickey Story in 1 1/3 innings. Allowed no hits, no runs. Walking 2, fanning 2. Altuve flares one, and a shallow right field. Parra moves in. Parra takes care of out number 1.
And you see a whole lot of that when Ian Kennedy's on his game. That elevated fastball gets in on the hands. Hitters have a hard time laying off of it, and most of them have a hard time doing anything with it other than hitting a lazy fly ball. If they put it in play at all. Good four seam, a lot of backspin, kind of riding action. It looks good to the hitter. They just don't quite get the head out in front of it. Need a lot of top hand to do anything with that pitch.
Scott Moore put down a sac bunt and he struck out. It's in tight ball 1 to Moore. Armando Galarraga allowed 6 hits in his 3 2/3 innings, not 5, as I said earlier. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Red Wallace is on deck. Final game of the brief 3-game homestand for the Astros. 6 on the road next week. 2 balls, 1 strike. Back home for another nice homestand of a little more length than this one. That'll be the Giants starting the 28th through the 30th, and the Cincinnati Reds through September 2nd. 2 contending clubs coming to Minute Maid Park. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As far as September call-ups, a lot of that will depend for the Astros on whether the Oklahoma City club is a playoff team or not come early September. It's up for ball 3, and it's a full count to Scott Moore.
And if a team's in a pennant race and they need help from AAA, there's no consideration as to what's going on down there. But when you're in the position that the Astros are in, if your minor league clubs have a chance to win a championship, sometimes you'll leave those guys down there to help make that happen.
Moore takes a walk. That's number 4 for Kennedy, an unusual game for him.
Especially since the Astros don't really work a lot of walks. There's some guys you may see in an Astros uniform in September. Seaton has gotten his career back on track. Paredes continues to swing it well at Oklahoma City. Dominguez was here briefly after coming over in the trade with the Marlins. Oberholzer 5-5 at AAA despite a high ERA, and Singleton having a very nice year. He's one of the youngest players in the Texas League, but doing more than holding his own. Jonathan Singleton, the top hitting prospect in the Astros organization. He's the reason why Brett Wallace has been seeing some time at third base.
Wallace has walked and struck out looking. Tony DeFrancisco says he plays third base fine. He's seen him do it. And he plans to play him some at third. He's at first today. As far as Jonathan Singleton, we're not sure if he would be a September call-up. It sounds like he would not. Jeff Luhnow was on Astros Live last night, and it sounds as if the plan is to let him finish out the year for a playoff team at Corpus Christi and come into spring training strong and compete next year. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Wallace will get his steady at bats. That's the plan for Brett, whether it's at first base or third. And keeping in mind that the Astros will have a DH in their lineup next year in the American League. That opens up another spot for a hitter. Strike makes it 1 and 2. And some teams prefer to rotate players into and out of that DH position, so they want people who can play elsewhere on the field. Some teams take one guy who may not be as proficient in the field as the other guys on the club and keep him as the DH. Wallace is down on strikes. He chased one up, and that's been what you've been talking about throughout the day. That's strikeout number 6.
Yeah, Wally clearly frustrated with himself and also with the home plate umpire, Dana DeMuth. He thought strike 2 was a little high, and he was rung up last time on a pitch that he thought might have been high and inside. The call by DeMuth kind of took him out of his game a little bit, and then he went way after that high heater.
Fernando Martinez banged a ball that for a time appeared to be a home run, but upon review it was a double in the 4th inning. He struck out earlier. Jammed on this one. He pops it into shallow left, and Drew is back for the catch to end the 5th inning with no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded through 5-0 Arizona. The game showing you Scott Moore at third base. It's a ground ball. He spins around, moving to his left. Makes the throw to first. Brett Wallace with the dig on the Aaron Hill grounder. And now Scott Moore gets the ball to pitcher number 3. He's Wesley Wright in a double switch. Ben Francisco's in left field batting 9th, and Wright goes into the number 4 spot in the order with Nando Martinez leaving the game.
Wesley having a solid year. 0-2, 2.97 ERA as he works for the 59th time. He's tied for second in Major League Baseball. 8-9-1 due up here for the Diamondbacks.
West last pitched on Wednesday in Chicago against the Cubs. First pitch there's ball 1 to Wheeler. Wheeler drew a bases loaded walk in the 4th after striking out in the 3rd. Over the last 2 years, left-handed batters have managed a 184 average against Wesley Wright. It's 2-0. Miami and Colorado have played 2 at Coors Field. It's 1-0 Miami. Texas finished off an 11-2 win in Toronto. Matt Harrison goes to 14-7 with that win. His ERA is down to 3.19. He beat Alvarez. And there's a story about why Ryan Dempster was scratched from that start in Toronto because of personal reasons, and Roy Oswalt made the start. According to one story, he lost his passport and couldn't get into Canada, which is interesting because he was born in Canada. 2 balls and a strike, but whatever the reason, he didn't start this weekend.
Really?
Yeah. Pittsburgh 2, St. Louis 2, top of the 7th in St. Louis. Jaime Garcia still in the game with a strong return to the rotation. Tap to second. Altuve over to Wallace. 1 out.
Hey, that could be a plot for a good novel or a movie, right? The Blue Jays are in a pennant race or something, and you got some guy at the Customs in their back pocket. They don't let the opposing player, the star, and the other team in. You got to work that up, Brownie.
Well, Larry Durker is writing a novel, so maybe we should suggest that to him.
What's his novel about?
Not sure. Ian Kennedy's 0 for 1 with a sac fly. Here's strike 1 to Kennedy. Did hit that ball well on the liner. That was a sac fly back in the 4th inning. Jack Corrigan wrote a baseball novel. He's the Rockies broadcaster. That was something about blood doping. No balls, 2 strikes.
It's quite the endeavor.
Yeah. Just imagine the work that would go into that, JD. You should probably think about that. You could come up with some good storylines.
No chance.
Yeah, you could do it.
You got to be disciplined to do that.
Well, people are after you to write a book, right?
No.
No? Okay. You could do a good one. I think maybe you and Allison Footer could collaborate on a very funny book. You both have good senses of humor. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just think about all the humorous things that have happened to you in your baseball travels.
Well, yeah. I don't know if we could fill a book with it, though. Maybe a pamphlet. Might come out with a pamphlet.
You could put out a pamphlet then. We could make it part of the giveaways that we have here at the ballpark.
Put it in the Progressive bag, yeah.
Yeah, you win a JD pamphlet. That's strike 3. Kennedy called, looking 2 outs.
Good heater there by Wesley Wright to finish off Kennedy. And you'll see it on our Fox tracks. Number 6, good enough for strike 3. Text doc tells you if you drink and drive, you're going to go to jail. And if you don't swing at that, you're going to walk back to the dugout.
Gerardo Parra doubled in a run in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Strike 1 for Wesley Wright. Phillies are leading 5-0 in Milwaukee. They've played 6. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Tampa Bay scoring in the top of the 2nd. Playing at Anaheim against Zach Greinke and the Angels. Leading it 2-0 now. Well, that Tampa Bay club is really something. Finally rolling now offensively. After waiting all year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Putting things together at perhaps just the right time. They're 12 games above 500 right now. Problem being, you've got the Yankees and Baltimore in that division if you're Tampa Bay to deal with.
Pitching's been really good. They have the best ERA in the American League. They're 10th in the league in runs scored, but the pitching is so good. They've picked it up lately offensively.
David Price for Cy Young. JD, for you?
Well, yeah, if I had to vote today, I think, well, really taking a good hard look at the numbers, he would be my guy.
2-2 to Parra. Parra, with the addition of Kubel, of course, lost some playing time in the outfield this year with Arizona. Kubel has been so very good, though. 3 balls, 2 strikes. When the D-backs signed Kubel as a free agent, they had to pull Parra in and explain things to him and say that he would still get a lot of playing time. And let's see how many at-bats he's had this year. 298. So maybe not so much after all. He had 445 last year. Little chop goes by the mound. Altuve over to Wallace. It's a 1-2-3-6 for Wesley Wright. It's a 5-0 lead for the D-backs.
Friday, August 31st, the Astros take on the Reds for another Flashback Friday presented by the Methodist Hospital System. Astro great Shane Reynolds will toss the ceremonial first pitch. Fans can also enjoy Friday night fireworks after the game presented by Marathon Oil. Root now and buy your tickets for Flashback Friday at Astros.com.
Tyler Green smacks one deep to left field. Kubel back looking up, and that one stays in play as Green gets to second base with a double leading off the home 6th inning, trailing 5-0. Now, he was robbed last time by a Parra catch in right field, diving as he came in toward the infield. This time he hits one over Kubel's head.
Astros continue to put pressure on Ian Kennedy. They've had base runners in every inning except for the third. They just haven't been able to bring anybody home. Now with this leadoff double, they've got a great chance to at least snap the shutout here. Green continues to impress with that bat.
He does. Pounding the ball since he joined the Astros. Brian Bogusevic follows. He is struck out and grounded out. Fernando Martinez led off the 4th inning with a double, but he was stranded at third base. And Francisco led off with a single as a pinch hitter in the 5th, so that's 3 straight innings the leadoff man has reached against Kennedy. Paul Konerko broke up the Jeremy Guthrie no-hit bid with a controversial infield hit. 2-out infield single in the 7th inning. Apparently there was a poor throw from Alcides Escobar, and got away from the first baseman Eric Hosmer. 2 balls, no strikes. Bogusevic works the count to 3-0 now.
The Astros are going to come back in this one. They're going to have to do a little damage against Kennedy. It'd be tough to come all the way back against the Diamondback bullpen. They've got a good one.
3-1. JJ puts the closer's been on a roll lately. Used Brad Ziegler for a scoreless inning Friday night to protect a 3-1 lead. David Hernandez worked a scoreless frame, setting up puts. So on top of Wade Miley's 6 innings of 1-run baseball, they got 3 scoreless from their relievers. Arizona's only 9-17 in 1-run games this year. Bogusevic takes a walk, and now first and second, nobody out. On the 5th walk for Kennedy, that's his high for the season in a game. Brandon Barnes, with the catcher Montero going out to the mound, is waiting. He singled to right in the 2nd inning, walked in the 4th. Both times coming through for the Astros out of the number 7 spot. 90 pitches for Kennedy. And now Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, is making his trip to the mound. Matt Albers is warming up, the Houston native. Kennedy had lost his last 2 starts. Last time out, 6 innings at St. Louis, gave up 5 runs, 3 of them earned. Really putting up a strong shutout bid to this point, but those leadoff men have been a little troublesome for his club as they've reached 3 innings in a row. Now the Astros try to follow that up with Barnes. Castro's on deck. That's strike 1 to Brandon Barnes.
That's exactly what I was talking about. You're going to have to do a little damage against Kennedy. Unlikely to come all the way back against the bullpen. Kennedy up over 90 pitches now, so this may be his last inning.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Back-to-back cut fastballs, both well placed. Outer 3rd and down.
Little chop, goes to 2nd. Hill steps on the bag, throws to 1st for a double play. Green to 3rd base, but the D-backs get 2 outs on that one.
What a visit by Charles Nagy. My goodness. Comes out and he makes 3 dandy pitches, and the 3rd one gets this double play to really clean up the inning. That's what happens when you fall behind in the count. You get a lot of defensive swings, get hitters feeling for the ball, and that little medium pace ground ball out there in the middle of the diamond, and it's an easy double play.
Jason Castro struck out and popped to 3rd. White Sox got a couple more hits in the top of the 7th, and they have 3 hits now against Guthrie of Kansas City, but KC leads it 2-0. There's a line smash into right field. Castro drives in the first run of the day for the Astros. That's his 21st RBI of the season, and it's 5-1.
Nothing defensive about that swing of the bat. First pitch swinging. He dropped the head on that heater. I guarantee you he didn't feel that one off the barrel. He just jumped off of that bat.
Yes, it did. Bringing home Green. The Astros finally break through. That's their 5th hit of the game. Ben Francisco came off the bench and got a pinch single to left in the last inning. Fouls it back, strike 1. Dodgers are batting in the 9th, and Atlanta leading 2-0. There's strong effort against the Braves on the road. Chad Billingsley went 7. He allowed 3 hits and no runs. Belisario worked the 8th. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Andy Ramirez is playing shortstop today for the Dodgers. The roller goes foul, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Billingsley's been on quite a roll. 8 shutout innings for him last time out.
Now the Dodgers are adding on. They've scored 3 in the top of the 9th so far to now move in front of Atlanta 5-0. Tampa Bay wound up with 4 in the 2nd inning, leading the Angels now 4-0 after 2 against Zach Greinke.
Dodgers hang on to win. It will be Billingsley's 6th consecutive win.
Matt Moore's pitching for Tampa Bay in Anaheim today. Swing and a miss, and that'll end it in the Astros 6th inning. Strikeout number 7 for Kennedy. 1 run, 2 hits, and a man left. After 6, it's 5-1 Arizona.
Drive sales event now through September 3rd. And by AT&T, Rethink Possible. Earlier we were talking about JD's possible book or pamphlet. Let's talk about a real book. Bill Brown wrote one. It's called My Baseball Journey, a sportscaster's story. It is available by going to mybaseballjourney.com. And of course the proceeds from this book benefit the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasias, which provides support and assistance for individuals suffering from a debilitating disorder with no known cure.
Thanks, Greg, and we look forward to JD's publication. Aaron Hill, the batter, he tops it foul. There's strike 1. The pressure's on now, pal.
Yeah, I'll put something together.
Okay. Hill with a double and a homer in 3 trips. Has had a big series, 6 for 11. That youngster's having a big day. He's got a nice cold treat on a day which found a lot of rain around the Houston area. Some overnight storms as well. There's a strike, and it's 0-2. Our producer hardly got any sleep last night. JD, Perry Furman.
How come?
Because of all the noise from the storms. We've been given a cookie.
It's somebody's birthday or something.
It's the departing interns day.
Oh, departing intern cookie day.
Cookie, right.
Thanks, guys.
It's 1-2. And we thank them for their service. Bizarre story about Melky Cabrera. Did you hear that one?
Yeah. I don't know all the details, but I've seen the headline.
There's a story from the Sporting News website today about Melky Cabrera. And the report, he's been suspended for 50 games for testing positive for elevated levels of testosterone in July. According to the story from the Sporting News, he knew he was facing the suspension. So to avoid that punishment, he became embroiled in a complicated scheme that involved creating a fake website for a non-existent supplement. That was from the New York Daily News, actually. And the idea was to create a digital record showing Cabrera had ordered a supplement that caused the positive test. Wesley Wright delivers the ball to make it 3-2 now. And so apparently players who have tested positive can present evidence that they ingested banned substances through no fault of their own. And that's, according to this story, what he was attempting to do. And he and his representatives made the case to the Players Union, but the effort failed. And Hill takes a walk.
So the idea was that there's this, he creates this fake website, and he is, among others, presumably, that are buying this product, and he had no idea what was in this product.
Yeah.
Therefore, he should be innocent.
Right.
It was all an elaborate ruse to cover the fact that he was actually taking something against the rules.
That's your novel.
You can't compete with this stuff.
Truth is better than fiction. Kubel is 1 for 3. So that will be a novel by JD. It'll be out next summer.
Cost him $10,000 to put that website up.
Yeah.
See, the thing, and then Victor Conte, the Balco guy, the guy with the lab out there who's been involved in all this over the years, he came out the other day and said that he has knowledge of like half the players are still using performance-enhancing drugs.
Right.
And I find that very hard to believe. Are people just calling Victor and just say, hey, Victor, by the way, I just want to let you know that I'm taking performance-enhancing drugs. I thought it was important that you know.
Well,
because you don't have a reputation of talking to the media or anything. Well, I just felt like it'd be a good idea.
I heard an interview with him today, and that's exactly what he said. Well, players talk to me all the time about these things, and that's what they tell me. That 50% of the guys, they think, or roughly, are using. And Fay Vincent was interviewed and asked his opinion about it, former commissioner of baseball.
What'd Fay say?
He said he didn't know. Fly ball to left. Francisco with the catch. Out number 1. So I said, well, who knows? May or may not be true, but definitely needs to be looked into.
Well, I mean, scoff at Balco, but we all scoffed at Jose Canseco and others who made previous claims. It just doesn't seem to me, with everything that's gone on and all the evidence and the more strident testing, I don't deny that there are guys that are trying to cheat, but I think it's way, way down.
Okay. Fernando Rodriguez warming up. Well, Fay Vincent is calling for more stringent penalties than are currently in effect. So maybe instead of a 50-game ban, maybe like gambling, you're done. That's it. Get caught once and you're finished.
Or out for the year, maybe.
That could be another way to look at it.
The problem is you have to be able to eliminate false positives.
Yeah. They're going. Throw from Castro on one hop. Safe. Altuve made the tag, but Hill is called safe with his 9th steal.
Well, that's the other thing about this Diamondback club. They got a lot of power, but they can run a little bit too. They got guys that move around the bases, go first to third, and steal a bag on occasion. Hill's not Vince Coleman or Ricky Henderson, but he's certainly capable of getting a bag. He does here.
Paul Goldschmidt took ball 1.
Goldschmidt's another one. He's 12 out of 14 for slugging first baseman to run like that. That's pretty impressive.
It really is. Strike to Goldschmidt. That makes it 1-1 to Paul. Don Mattingly was suspended. He started serving that suspension last night, and the Dodgers won, and they're winning again today. Turn towards second and the throw to Altuve. Matt Kemp, though, was not suspended. You know, he was tossed out of that game the other day by Angel Campos. That's a ball for Wesley Wright. That makes it 2-1. Let's see, next weekend we're in New York, Citi Field, so we'll have some type of review available. It's being tested in that series with the Astros and Mets, and also the previous series for whoever's playing the Mets next week at Citi Field. We might have Hawkeye, that tennis technology, on fair or foul down the foul lines. Or we might have some sort of camera that they can review.
So this technology they're rolling out, and the idea that they would implement instant replay for plays other than boundary calls, is that going to take place this year? I mean, will they put it in the postseason this year? Is that the thinking? Or?
No.
So it's just experimental in this week,
yeah,
and with an eye towards next season.
That's right. So this would be, well, in the case of Hawkeye, it's like the tennis technology on faults. So there'd be a laser shooting down the right and left field line. And then there's some sort of instant communication with the umpire who has an earpiece to let him know whether his call was right, whether it was fair or foul.
Could it possibly even give him the information before he makes the call? You know?
Well,
I mean, if it's that instantaneous.
If he waits long enough.
Wait a beat.
Just keep running, guys, while I decide.
Yeah, just play on. Just play until you hear the whistle.
Oh, you pulled a hamstring while you were waiting? I'm sorry. Doug Brocail out.
And one of the arguments against instant replay is because it takes time to analyze the video, and I'd be in favor of some kind of system like the ball we had here earlier, the ball that Fernando Martinez hit. Clearly, anybody watching on television, we had the replay here. You could see it was a double and not a home run. So instead of the umpires having to leave the field, review the video, what if there was somebody up here who could just, flash a light, double, or, save everybody the trouble.
That's what Brad Mills has suggested down through the years. Had the
official scorer or somebody.
Right. And he kind of suggested, well, he didn't kind of, he suggested that there'd be a fifth umpire who would be in a booth up here watching those plays, and he would be capable of relaying the video evidence to the umpiring crew and letting them know what the call should be. Montero's 0 for 2 with a walk. Cost could be a factor. No balls, 2 strikes.
That's why I wouldn't hire a fifth umpire to do it. I would just give the responsibility to the official scorer and throw him a few bones on a nightly basis.
Okay. Or we could have an intern do it.
Exactly. Now, how hard is it? You look at the replay, home run or no home run.
Okay. Kansas City leads the White Sox 3-2. They're batting in the bottom of the 8th now. They've just broken a 2-2 tie against Jesse Crain with a run. Check swing attempt, and he did check it on appeal to Paul Noward. Wesley Wright has a 1-2 count. That looked like a good call.
Yeah, I think he checked. Of course, you'd have to trust the official scorer, the intern, whoever that was above any kind of favoritism or influence from the home team.
I have an idea on that. In tight. What about a retired federal judge?
There you go.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Like a Judge Judy type person. Put her right up here in a robe. That would be good TV. Get a shot of the judge sitting up here in her robe.
Is she really a judge?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if she was an actor.
I think all those TV judges are former judges.
Okay. in the dirt. Castro can't stop it, and the runners will advance on a wild pitch. Hill to third and Goldschmidt to second as the count goes to 3-2. Wild pitch by Wright.
Jason not able to get out there quickly enough to corral that one, and the Diamondbacks move up 90 feet at third and second. Astros scoring in the bottom of the sixth to pull within 4, but now the Diamondbacks can get that run back and maybe one more with the base hit here for Montero.
So the infielders come in tight. Bouncer up the middle, and that'll get home Hill. And now a 2-run single for Montero as Goldschmidt scores as well to make it 7-1. Right up the middle, textbook hitting by Montero, who has 72 runs batted in.
Yeah, you know, there's obviously a lot of attention paid to Buster Posey with what he's done in San Francisco, but Montero, boy, he's awfully darn good himself. It's going to be another double switch now. Tony DeFrancisco out. So he's getting a sense of what it felt like to be Brad Mills for the last few months. Last 2 years, essentially. Maxwell checks in. Francisco will leave the ball game.
I'll put J-Max in the number 4 spot in the order. And the pitcher will go back in the 9 position. As the double switch for DeFrancisco will bring in Fernando Rodriguez right after this.
Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington will get you ready for kickoff. Then Heisman Trophy frontrunner Matt Barkley and USC, ranked as high as first, will take on their first step to the road to a national championship as they take on Hawaii. The premiere of College Football Saturday is September 1st, 6 p.m. Central, only on Fox.
So Erin Andrews has come over to the other side now.
Yes, she has. She'll be in all the pregame shows.
Very good. Justin Maxwell enters in the double switch. He's in left field. And he'll be batting fourth. And the new pitcher, Fernando Rodriguez, is 1-8. His ERA is 5.55. He'll be facing Chris Young.
Well, Efrod 1-8 with that 5.55 ERA. This is his 54th appearance.
Chris Young drove in a run with a single in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. Strike one on the fastball to Young. 14,923 the attendance today on the final game of the homestand. That'll get out into right field. Altuve tries to flag it down, but it rolls on away, and he picks it up now. And It's a single for Young. He tried to get his glove on it, but it rolled underneath it. So Young, on the broken bat, has a 2-for-4 day now.
That's just awful.
Yeah, if you're pitching, that is awful.
That's just awful. Gets in there in his kitchen, shatters his bat.
Altuve was swung way up the middle, so he did what he could do, but it goes as a lazy single through the right side and brings up Drew. Drew is 0 for 2 with a walk. And Chris Young was hitting .223 at game time. He's hitting about .500 for the year against the Astros now. 2 for 4 in this one. Slightly under .500. He's going to hate to leave town.
Gibson's going to have to push him onto that team bus.
Late swing there by Drew. That makes it 1-1. The Reds got a run in the ninth, and they walked off with a win over the Cubs 5-4. They've been a walk-off team this year, haven't they? Boy. Aroldis Chapman got the win, beating Sean Camp.
They got the magic going.
They really do.
Six wins in a row for Chad Billingsley. The Dodgers finished off Atlanta 5-0 this afternoon. In those 6 starts, Billingsley has allowed a grand total of 6 runs, 4 of them in 1 game.
Wow.
Throw that out, and he's been unbelievable.
10-9 with a 3.44 ERA for the season. It's quite a race in the NL West. Dodgers, Giants, and Arizona.
Gents down early, 3-0. Padres put a 3 spot on him in the bottom of the first.
Strike there, and Drew is caught looking. 2 outs. 5 strikeouts for Astros pitchers. They've walked 6 in the game.
Good hitter right over the outside corner.
Guess what's happening tomorrow night? San Francisco at Los Angeles.
Ooh.
Bumgarner and Kershaw. Bumgarner 13-7, Kershaw 11-6. Fabulous matchup tomorrow night. Ryan Wheeler is 0 for 2 with a bases loaded walk in this one.
Over under on that one would be about 3 runs total.
That's ball 1. Now Bumgarner is fabulous at home at AT&T Park. On the road, not nearly as good. But Dodger Stadium, a very good pitcher's park. It's a night game. Well, that will be a game we should watch tomorrow night. We'll be in St. Louis, JD. We could settle right in.
We could.
Well, what else is there to do in St. Louis? Walk down by the arch?
Depends if MI5 is on or not.
Fly ball to center, and over in right center, there's the catch by Barnes to make it a 2-run 7th inning on 2 hits, 2 men left. And we'll keep it right here as you can join in as Joe Prince, one of our favorite singers. He is upwards of 90 years of age. He's waiting for the troops to get out on the field. He's going to trail them out and lead us in the singing of God Bless America.
This is Home Sweet Home program. The Astros and Budweiser are pleased and honored to be able to welcome to this afternoon's game service members who have recently returned home from overseas deployment. Gentlemen, welcome home. And now, to thank them and honor them and every one of the servicemen and women who protect our freedom around the world every day, please join World War II veteran. This young man will be 94 years old next month, Joe Prince, for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Shows you this reverse replay, and the day of Ian Kennedy with 97 pitches. He survived 5 walks, JD.
Yeah, it was somewhat surprising with his control and the Astros not being a real patient team. They managed to work the 5 walks off of him and had a lot of base runners, but just didn't score a lot of runs. Kennedy coming off a 21-win season, in position for his 11th win of 2012 against 10 losses. It goes to the bullpen now to protect this 7-1 lead, and there's a familiar face, Matt Albers.
Native of Houston, has an ERA of 0 in a Diamondback uniform for 5 2/3 innings. Striking out 5, walking 3 with a 111 batting average after he came from Boston in a July 31st trade. Matt was born in Houston, now lives in the Woodlands, went to San Jacinto Junior College. And he takes over against Jose Altuve in the home 7th inning and throws ball 1. Altuve is 0 for 2 with a walk. Ian Kennedy in 6 innings surrendered 5 hits, 1 run, walking 5 and striking out 7. In line for win number 11 of the year.
It's kind of the anti-Kennedy, whereas Kennedy throws that high fastball. Albers, the sinker baller. You're trying to get Kennedy down in the zone. You're trying to get Albers to elevate a little bit. That left here went to Baltimore in the Tejada deal. Spent 3 years in their bullpen before moving on to Boston.
2 balls, 1 strike. Matt broke in with the Astros in 06. In 07, he made 18 starts for Houston, 13 relief appearances. Drafted in the 23rd round in 01. Arizona got him in a trade along with outfielder Scott Pasetnik for lefty Craig Breslow. Strike, and it's 2-2. Breslow just pitched for Boston the other day. I believe he was a Harvard guy, JD.
Oh yeah, he's a really smart guy.
No, he went to Yale.
Yeah.
Well, I think Ryan LaVarnway also went to Yale. Swing and a miss. Altuve strikes out, and that's out number 1. So it was an all Yale battery for the Red Sox, which is pretty rare.
Sinker now, hard slider in the dirt. Gets Altuve to chase.
Scott Moore comes up. Scott 0 for 1 with a walk, a sac bunt. His 6-game hitting streak on the line here. Padres got 3 in the first against the Giants, and now it's 3-1 San Diego. Ryan Vogelsong trailing in the early going there. There's ball 1. Wei-Yin Chen in Baltimore down Detroit in the Motor City 7-5, beating Doug Fister. Jim Johnson got his 37th save. Boy, what a year for Johnson. 1-1.
Breslow has a degree in molecular biophysics. Lavarnway majored in philosophy at Yale. I'm surprised he even got a pitch off. Had some lengthy debates.
Can you imagine with the catcher putting down signs? Now that's too simple for these two guys. They've got to have their own form of communication.
Well, Breslow wanted breaking it all down, and then Lavarnway, the philosophy major, asking why. Why?
2 balls, 2 strikes. I wonder if they have debates when their team is batting. They could probably go through every pitch they want to throw in the next inning in advance, file all that way, and then have a debate on some other issue. And they're both probably Mensa members.
There's one story here I've stumbled upon, and Moore goes down. Albers back in Houston looking good. 2 hitters, 2 punch outs. September 15, 1883, and the Philadelphia Athletics had a battery of Jack Jones and Al Hubbard. Were both Yaleys.
Oh, is that the last time it happened?
According to this story, it is.
Nice.
Good enough for me.
Okay. Brett Wallace has walked and struck out twice in this game. Justin Maxwell on deck. Albers ripping that one up there at 93 miles per hour, getting strike 1. Helping this Arizona bullpen picture. They're going to the 10th in St. Louis. Pirates 2, Cardinals 2. 1-1. You know, you get to this point in the season, and people aligned with both of those teams are thinking, man, we could have playoff implications on this one right here, even though there are 6 weeks remaining in the season. With where the Pirates and Cardinals are in the standings right now, Wallace goes for it, and it's 1-2 to Brett.
Yeah, with this many teams involved and as close as it is, it certainly could come down to one game. You know, the team that misses out by just a game, they'll have all winter to look back over their schedule and think, geez, how did we let that one get away? Or, you know, one critical play.
Pittsburgh 1 game in front of St. Louis right now in the NL Central.
Wow.
Albers strikes out the side. He just mows down the Astros in the 7th inning, and it's 7-1 Arizona. Time brought to you by Miller Lite. Aaron Hill has had another big day today. Had a double earlier, and now he cracks a home run off Galarraga in the 4th inning. That touched off a 5-run frame. And Aaron Hill has had 6 hits in this 3-game weekend series. 2 homers and 4 runs batted in.
Series here this weekend looking very much like the series the Astros had against the Diamondbacks in Phoenix. Diamondbacks really putting a lot of runs on the board. The Astros not able to do a whole lot with the Diamondback pitching staff. It's been a very lopsided series so far this year.
55 runs for Arizona, 19 for Houston in the season series. Now Chris Johnson in the game in the 9 spot in the lineup with a .275 average, 13 homers, 59 runs batted in. He leads it off in the 8th. Former Astros started, and there's strike 1 to him. He was just ripping the ball when he first put on an Arizona uniform. Overall, he's hit .250 in a Diamondback uniform at 56 at bats, but has a .536 slugging percentage with 5 home runs for Arizona, including a grand slam in his first game as a D-back.
18 driven in 16 games since putting on that uniform, and again, a lot of it came in those first few games.
He was in the lineup Friday night. He was 0 for 3 with a walk in the Arizona 3-1 win. Did not play last night. The pitch is up, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count. On appeal, Doug Eddings ruled. He checked his swing. Chris got his first major league grand slam against the Giants back in early May, and then number 2 of the year in that first game with Arizona. That was at Los Angeles. He shoots this one up the right field line. It's slicing and going foul. Chris, 27 years old, from Naples, Florida. The Astros drafted him in the 4th round in 2006. Down there somewhere. And it was quite an emotional time when he was told that he had been traded to Arizona because the Houston organization is the only one he had ever known. Seems to be a good fit, though, and the Astros are pleased with the prospects they got in return. Mark Krause and Bobby Borchering. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Krause has been promoted from AA to AAA already. Borchering has hit 4 home runs, driven in 17 in 17 games at Corpus Christi. Krause drove in 16 in 7 games at Corpus before he moved up to Oklahoma City. So everybody happy so far after the deal. Now it's a full count to Chris Johnson. That was a club record that he set with Arizona with 5 homers in his first 8 games in their uniform. Jim Crane's going to be talking with the media after this game today. Press conference took place at 10 o'clock this morning to announce the manager and coaching changes that were implemented before this game. There's a strikeout, and it's out number 1 for Fernando Rodriguez.
Fernando with a lot of hard stuff in this sequence and a good fastball to finish off CJ.
Wesley Wright in 1 1/3 innings allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, walking 2, fanning 1. Gerardo Parra has an RBI double in the 4th. That's when the Diamondbacks paraded 10 men to the plate and scored 5 runs on 5 hits. That's strike 1.
Yeah, they've batted around today. Batted around last night. Probably batted around once or twice when we were in Phoenix in that series.
Yeah, we'll check, but no doubt they did. Fly ball to left center. Maxwell backing a few steps. That's 2 outs for Fernando. Let's see, the Astros were there over the weekend of July 20th through the 22nd. Yeah, they batted around in the 6th inning of the final game of that series. They batted around in the 4th inning of game 2. And they batted around in the 5th inning of game 1.
Wow. So batting around the order 5 times in 6 games.
Ooh.
It might be some kind of a record.
It could be. Aaron Hill has a homer, a double, and a walk. And strike 1. Jonathan Singleton, we talked about him earlier, had a big night last night. Corpus Christi won over Springfield 12-4. He had 4 hits, scored 3 runs, hit a homer, and drove in 3. For the year, he's hit .288.
You can match.
.389 on base percentage for the season for Singleton. That's a swing, and it's 0-2 to Hill. That Washington-New York game finally underway. There's the way he went through and was called for swinging. Washington 4, Mets nothing, bottom of the 3rd inning. Danny Espinosa hit his 14th home run. Gio Gonzalez, another Cy Young Award contender, on the mound for the Nats. And the Mets have Jeremy Hefner pitching today.
Talking about that Cardinal-Pittsburgh game earlier, Jaime Garcia off the disabled list, but obviously no strings attached. He went 8 innings today through 107 pitches, allowed 2 runs, none earned, struck out 10, didn't walk a man.
The Astros will miss him.
That has the potential to be a huge addition to the Cardinals.
It really does. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Carlos Beltran with a 2-run double. He's now driven in 85 this year. Does that lead the league?
It's close.
Run up around the top of.
We're going to check. I think he is the league leader. Let's see. Yes, he is now. He was tied with Ryan Braun coming into today with 83. It would be a very good sign for the Cardinals, didn't it?
It did.
Tampa Bay 6. The Angels 1. They're in the top of the 5th. And beating up on Zach Greinke. Catman Ryan Roberts hit his 8th home run for the Rays. And Mr. Trout, number 24 for the Angels. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Steve Trout probably bringing up recollections of Fred Lynn. That monster rookie year he had, 75. Boy.
Rookie of the year MVP, right?
Yeah,
Freddie
home
Lynn.
runs, batted in, you name it. Batting average, tremendous defensive plays. Foul back, still 1-2. Oakland 1, Cleveland nothing. They've played 3. Jared Parker has the lead. Phillies are shutting out Milwaukee 8-0 as the Brewers bat in the 9th inning. Cardinals are batting in the bottom of the 10th, tied 2-2 with Pittsburgh. We'll be in St. Louis Tuesday night for the next telecast, and that will be coming your way at 6:30 with Astros Live. Lucas Harrell and Adam Wainwright to pitch, and a 7:15 start. Wednesday night it's Bud Norris, who usually does a job on the Cardinals, and he'll be opposed by Kyle Loesch. Loesch is 12-2 with a 2.61 ERA. Thursday we have a day game for Dallas Keuchel and Jake Westbrook, and then on to New York for next weekend. Two balls, 2 strikes to Aaron Hill. John Buck hit his 9th home run for Miami, but the Marlins trail 3-2 at Colorado, bottom of the 6th inning. Jordan Pacheco belted number 2 for the Rocks. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fernando, a little smile on that one.
Freddie Lynn, the only guy to do that, to win the Rookie of the Year and the MVP in the same season?
We think yes. I always look at boots before I answer you. That's laced to left field. Maxwell running out of room here and looking up at the seats, and that's where the ball winds up as Hill hits his second long ball of this game, his third in the last 2 games. What a weekend series for Aaron Hill. That's 17 long balls this year for Aaron, and it's 8-1 Arizona.
Aaron Hill with quite a thrill. High fastball, and it's a swing and miss pitch a lot, but not this time. Hill gets enough of it to lift it out of here.
Gives Hill 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in against the Astros this year. He's provided both Arizona long balls in this game. Kubel the batter now, ball 1.
Freddie Lynn in 1975 hit .331, 47 doubles, drove in 105 runs. Claimed those 2 honors. The guy people compare Mike Trout to is Willie Mays.
It's a good comparison the way he plays. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A lot of talk about Trout and Harper coming into the league, as Mays and Mantle did back in 1951.
Harper has fallen off quite a bit since his initial time in the big leagues, but nonetheless quite a talent.
And his numbers this year very similar to what Mantle did his first year.
Interesting. Well, the fear on Trout is that he's going to get hurt running into outfield walls with those tremendous catches he makes. And that's what happened with Freddie Lynn in the 1975 World Series. He banged into that wall in center field at Fenway. 3 balls and a strike. Big cut there by Kubel, takes the count full now. Pete Reeser with the Dodgers used to bang into walls all the time, and the feeling was that really shortened his career. Brian Shaw warming up for Arizona. Grounded, and that's a fair ball for Wallace. He takes it to first, and it's 1 run, 1 hit. A big weekend for Aaron Hill and the D-backs. They lead it 8-1 in the inning. Shows you the starting pitchers. Harrell and Wainwright Tuesday night. Norris and Loesch Wednesday night. A day game Thursday for Keuchel and Westbrook. Arizona has put together a nice lead here, 8-1. Bottom of the 8th inning coming for Jeff Shaw now, or Brian Shaw. Shaw is pitcher number 3. Matt Albers struck out the side in the 7th inning. It'll be Justin Maxwell first up against Brian Shaw. He's 1-4 with a 4.73 ERA.
Shaw, he's kind of a poor man's Mariano Rivera. He throws a ton of cut fastballs. 90 to 92 miles an hour. Slider, curve, and a changeup. But again, he relies very heavily on that cutter. 4 in a row have punched out for the Astros. Matt Albers struck out the side last inning.
Well, that brings the Diamondback strikeout total for this game to 10. Maxwell batting for the first time has a .236 average, 12 homers. He's driven in 37. J. Max has had 220 at bats. Fouls that one for strike 1.
Good looking pitch. He throws it hard too. That one clocked at 93 miles an hour. Just a little bit of movement away from the barrel.
It's no balls, 2 strikes. Jordan Schaefer's headed for Kissimmee, Florida today to rehab his left shoulder. He'll work out for 4 to 5 days before heading for Corpus Christi. Still 0-2 to Justin Maxwell. His 12 home runs. Leads all players on the active roster. Chad Lowry, the club leader, with 14 on the disabled list. The Astros are hoping to get Jed back in September. There's no particular timetable right now for his leg injury. It's a rather unusual one. Still 0-2.
Yeah, I guess that speaks volumes that Jed has been on the DL for better than a month now and still leads the club in home runs.
Yeah, it does. Fouled away by Justin Maxwell. Still no balls, 2 strikes to him. Michael Kadires headed back to the DL for the Rockies. He re-injured his oblique muscle. Swing and a miss and a strikeout of Maxwell. That's 5 strikeouts in a row at this stage of the game for the D-back pitchers.
Good pitch here by Shaw. I've shown the hard cutter earlier. Now he gets on top of this ball a little bit more of a slider. And people often ask what's the difference between a cutter and a fastball. And you saw a good example of it in that sequence. The cutter just essentially moving just horizontally across the strike zone. That one had a little tilt to it, a little depth. Cutter he's throwing at 93. That slider was 82 miles an hour.
Ball 1 to Tyler Green. He doubled and scored in the 6th. He's 1 for 3. With a cutter, is it the same grip as a fastball but just held off center?
For a lot of guys, yeah.
One ball, 1 strike. Well, it's become such a big pitch in baseball. One and 2 to Green. We're in the 11th in St. Louis, still tied. Pirates and Cardinals tied at 2. Mojica's in for St. Louis now. Well, there it is. Slider against 2 strikeouts.
Well, last night after the Diamondbacks got the big lead, the Astros went quietly. They didn't have a base runner in the last 4 innings. Now a string of strikeouts. 6 in a row.
Bogusevic is 0 for 2 with a walk. Out to left field. Kubel comes in, and that's a 1-2-3-8. We moved to the 9th inning with a score 8-1 Arizona.
Summer Drive sales event now through September 3rd. Well, the Astros close out the homestand today. Tomorrow off, then into St. Louis for 3. The third of those will be a day game, and into New York for 3. The last 2 of those are day games before coming back home to Minute Maid Park. To the 9th and the booth, Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Thank you, Greg. Here is Wilton Lopez. He's pitcher number 5. He's 5-1 with a 2.30 ERA.
Wilton having another outstanding year. .17 ERA here in the month of August. Note the strikeout to walk ratio. That's pretty much standard issue for him.
He goes to work on Paul Goldschmidt and delivers strike 1. Goldschmidt's been on 3 times in a row with a single and 2 walks. Wilton worked a scoreless inning Friday night, got the side in order. Had 2 ground ball outs along the way. It's 1-1. Fernando Rodriguez worked 1 2/3 innings. He allowed 2 hits and 1 run with no walks. Struck out 2. Strike makes it 1-2 for Wilton. Jared Cosard returned from his blister problems to pitch for Oklahoma City last night. Retired the side in order in the 8th. It's 2-2. Matt Downs almost hit a 3-run homer, but didn't quite get it out, and it was an RBI double off the top of the wall.
Way to go, Downsy. Bronco Nagurski's warming up.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Zagurski. Apparently one of Ken Hoffman's buddies was involved in catching those 2 foul balls at the game here. Same fan caught 2 foul balls. It's in the air to right center field. Bogusevic back on the track. He handles it, 1 out.
Well, there was a game somewhere not too long ago where the same fan caught 2 home run balls.
That's a little improbable. Yeah. Now Miguel Montero is going to be pinch hit for. Will Nieves is going to be pinch hitting here. Give Montero an inning off. Montero had a 2-run single and a walk in 4 trips. Nieves 304, 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. Nieves got the start Friday night. It's a ground ball. Tyler Green over, drops it, and Nieves reaches. Nieves was 1 for 3 in the game Friday night. Gets on base here in the 9th inning. It's really hit for Nieves. Hit number 10 for the Diamondbacks. He's not being held on by Wallace. Chris Young has a couple of hits. Young had 4 hits last night. There's a liner at third, broken bat. Scott Moore makes the catch, and the barrel of the bat winds up right there at his feet. 2 outs. He broke his bat last time up and got a hit into right field. Two outs now, and it's Stephen Drew batting. Drew is 0 for 3 with a walk. That's strike 1 to Drew.
So the Astros could take some solace that at least they broke a couple of Chris Young's bats after he's been breaking their hearts all weekend.
That's about it, yeah. There's a shot on the ground. Tyler Green with the throw to get Drew. No runs, a hit, and a man stranded. Bottom of the 9th ahead, 8-1 Arizona.
Eight to 1. You can subscribe to MLB.tv today and take advantage of new low pricing to see every remaining Astros out-of-market game live online or on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details, because MLB.tv, that equals baseball everywhere. Brownie?
Mike Zagorski's in the game to pitch for Arizona. They have a new second baseman as well, Jake Elmore there at second. We move to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is 8-1 Arizona. The Diamondbacks trying for a sweep of this 3-game series. The Astros have been swept in 9 series this year. Will Nieves stays in to do the catching. 2 of those at home. Washington in a 4-game set, and Cincinnati swept the Astros here at home. Zagorski is pitcher number 4.
Bronco worked a 1-2-3 ninth yesterday. Got a strikeout and a couple fly balls to center field. He's old school, isn't he? Big burly left-hander.
Very much so.
We need more guys like Bronco Zagorski in the game.
Brendan Barnes leads it off. He has a single and a walk. He bounced into a double play in the 6th inning. Yeah, colorful guy. Mike's from Omaha, California, in the University of Kansas. Don't know where Omaha, California is.
Thought he was from Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, maybe that's a mistake then. That would make more sense. Strike one.
I mean, there may be, but I was reading something on him the other day, and I thought I read where he was from Nebraska.
Okay. He could be a corn-fed left-hander. Yeah, it's Nebraska. Pop-up goes foul, and it's back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, so he went from the state of Nebraska to the state of Kansas for college. Got drafted by the Phillies in 2002.
Hey, nice play.
Yep.
So stay with it.
That's the way Ken Hoffman would do it.
Except for he'd have a hot dog in his other hand.
Swing and a miss, and Barnes is down on strikes. Boy, that's 13 strikeouts. Arizona pitching today. Jason Castro has driven in the Houston run. That was in the 6th inning with a sharp single to right field. He's 1 for 3. Steve Trout hit his 24th today for the Angels, but they trail 6-1 at home in the top of the 6th to Tampa Bay. Washington 4, the Mets nothing after 4 in Washington. Castro looks at ball 1. In the bottom of the 11th in St. Louis, still tied, Pirates and Cardinals. There's another hit for Castro, and he's 2 for 4.
Oh boy, Jason. 2 solid singles. Really hit the ball hard last time up, and here against the lefty. Good solid contact. Give him a 2 for 4 day. Nice job.
Now pinch hitter Marwin Gonzalez comes up. Marwin, a switch hitter, batting right this time, has a .239 average with 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. As a right-handed batter, he's hitting .133. Marwin looks at ball 1. Batting for Wilton Lopez, who in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, no runs. No walks, no strikeouts for Wilton. Foul and out of play. Marwin's 1 for 3 in this series. He's hitting .184 in August and 49 at bats. It's 1-1. Still 3-1 San Diego over San Francisco. Bottom of the 3rd. 2 balls and a strike. Kansas City beat the White Sox 5-2. Greg Holland won that one over Jesse Crain. Flared foul out of play. That makes it a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So the White Sox loss. They dropped to 65 and 55. Very modest record for a division leading club. They maintain their game-and-a-half lead on Detroit, which also lost to Baltimore 7-5. With the Baltimore win, Tampa Bay needs to win in Anaheim to stay a game in front of the Orioles. Still 2-2 to Marwin Gonzalez. Young is well over into right center field for Marwin. Now it's a full count. Altuve's on deck. Astros not being held on by Goldschmidt. Castro takes off, and it's ball 4. Gonzalez works a walk. 2 men on, 1 out for Altuve now, and his 4-game hitting streak's on the line. He's 0 for 3 with a walk.
Read Bronco's lips there, and he said, "My fault."
Okay.
As if it could possibly be anybody else's fault. Throw the pitch out of the strike zone.
Elmore, the second baseman's got coverage on a grounder back to Zagurski, rather. Now you got me going. Flared foul, strike 1. You suppose Bronco Nagurski ever played baseball?
I'm guessing, yeah. All those guys back in the day, they played a little bit of everything.
They did, didn't they? Rugby, curling, bowling.
Jim Brown was a great lacrosse player at Syracuse as well as football.
True.
All-American. Those are lips.
1 ball, 1 strike to Altuve.
Do you know that Bronco Nagurski, the great football player, was Canadian born?
No.
I did not know that.
What province do you know?
Ontario.
Okay.
Born in Rainy River, Ontario. And he also became a professional wrestler. So I don't know how much baseball Bronco played.
1-2 to Altuve. Foul away. Somebody named an all JD team, by the way.
What's that?
We're going to find it. Kelly sent us an all JD team. Kelly Klein, Joe DiMaggio center field, Johnny Damon left field, Jermaine Dye right field, Jake Daubert first base, Jimmy Dykes second base, Joe DeMaestri shortstop, Jim Davenport third, John Rick Dempsey catcher, Jim DeShays pitcher. There you have it.
We could probably find about 30 pitchers to put on that club. John Denny comes to my mind immediately.
John Denny. Well, we wanted a lefty. It's your team. You have to be on
I get to be on it.
Yeah. All JD team.
We get Jeff and Jerry Devannon on there?
Yeah, we could. In fact, Kelly said she had to cheat a little bit. She couldn't find a true left fielder, and she struggled to find a catcher. Chopped to second. There's a play on to first by Elmore. And it's out number 2 with the runners moving along. Castro to third.
We need to start doing that. We haven't put any teams together lately.
No.
We'll work on that on the next road trip.
We've gotten exceptionally lazy about that.
To put together some kind of find some hook on the next road trip. We'll come up with something.
Scott Moore is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Maybe put an all-bird team together or something like that since we're playing the Cardinals.
We could do that. Or Tony P. Francesco, maybe our all-Italian team.
Yeah.
Strike 1 or more.
3/4 of that club would be Yankees, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure would.
DiMaggio, Berra, Rizzuto, Piazza Pie.
Oh, yeah. Phil Linz. How about an all harmonica team? A little tap foul first base side. No balls, 2 strikes. Diamondbacks got a big 4-run explosion, a 5-run explosion in the 4th. And that has made a world of difference in this game. They got a leadoff homer from Hill in that one. That gave Ian Kennedy working room. It was 0-0 until they came up in the 4th. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Birthday wishes to Woody Williams today.
But he is 46 now.
I heard that his son just declared to go to U of H.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Strikeout of Moore, and that ends an Arizona sweep of this 3-game series. Diamondbacks with a 4-2 road trip will head back home for a 10-game homestand with a 62-59 record. And Hill with the big 2-home-run game had a huge weekend here among several Diamondbacks who did. For the season, they outscored the Astros in the season series 56-19. Arizona swept the season series, winning all 6 for Kirk Gibson.